All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in the streaming world. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is the Stones of Faerûn. It is a D&D 5th edition epic played on Discord and Roll20, and it's streamed out to you on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm DM Windy J, and all of our group join in from all over North America. I love how I just kind of looked around the room as if they were all here, because sometimes it feels like they are. If you want to see some journals and updates about our game, you can go to our website, which is stones.windyjmusic.com. We are actually starting a little bit late. We did a little bit of a last episode reminder just before we were able to get on air. And that lovely last episode reminder basically sums up as saying, a fight ensued at the Hollow Flags cartography. A halfling made away with the keys that Marisol found. Halfling caught, Larkin met. Everybody comes back to the Hollow Flags cartography, and now they're trying to figure out what's all going on. Through a little bit of a mutual agreement, it is decided that the halfling is just going to be let go after, you don't say anything, I won't say anything, kind of a kind of agreement. But what had happened, what they did discover, after this halfling has suggested that, you've got spellcasters here, perhaps you should, use them. And sure enough, one of them casts, I think it was Autumn that ended up casting Detect Magic. And the keys were not magical. However, they did notice a faint aura of conjuration below a spot that they had already noticed in Hollow Flag's cartography as having kind of this hollow feature to it. They never did find the access point, and Donnie spent lots of time underneath the stairs trying to find it, but they couldn't find an access point. But they did find proof that there was something there, so they went searching on the outside of the house. And sure enough, found a couple of planks that could be loosened off the back of the building and descended down a ladder that's about 6 feet down into this secret chamber, we'll call it. Secret cellar, if you will. And that is where we're going to pick up. So ladies and gents, once again, thank you very much for joining us with the Stones of Faerûn. All right, and we're back. So, where we left off, and what we can there's not a lot to see on the map right now. I'll bring you all in so you can see what you can see. And we're back into the Hollow Flags cartography. And in Hollow Flags, if you are just kind of getting the screen loaded right now, you go slide all the way to the right, because what you're going to see there is basically Marisol only. Everybody else is kind of on the outside, except for perhaps Indani, I think, who's still inside the building, kind of keeping watch over this unconscious cultist. But everybody else is out the back of this building as Marisol drops into this chamber underneath her parents' building that she has never known about before. Marisol, what you see once you're down here is you see it's a very narrow space. It's about 4 feet wide. And at the end of it, you just see a large door. And in this large door, you can sense that there, with your dark vision, a few locks in it. Is there anything that anybody would like to do at this point, now that we have this introduced?
I would like to hop down and follow suit, because I'm very intrigued.
Okay, so there's not a lot of space. You go get onto the... Hang on, I gotta find your token real quick. You find in behind Marisol, it's fairly difficult to actually get more than just you and her down in there before... I mean, you can have somebody sit on the ladder, but that's pretty much all you're going to be able to get inside there.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'll just get that lovely token placed for you. There we go. And Autumn, you should be able to see things now.
I can see things.
So, you are down here, you are without light, but you do see a door. And it is all very rough-hewn. It's not well-shaped. It's obviously just been kind of chiseled out, and that's it. Very rough walls.
I look around, putting my hand along the rough walls. We don't have a basement. What is this?
Don't know, but the magic's coming from behind there.
And so, Autumn, you're actually paying attention particularly to the locks on the door. There are 4 of them, and each one of them is radiating this light blue energy out of it, of which you recognize as conjuration.
It also seems like the locks might be warded by some magics as well. It's probably fine if you have the key.
Who does have the
Take
key?
the keys out. I do.
Okay,
They're
okay, good,
between
good.
my boobs at the moment.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'll take them out and examine them and try the first one on the first lock.
Okie doke. So, just as a reminder here to get those keys out so we can have a look at them. Where did I save them? I saved them probably in here. So we're looking at particularly, let's show this to everybody real quick. We're looking at these keys, so which one would you have used first and on which, first of all, looking at those, you'll see a few things. The keys have, the locks have some interesting reliefs in them. One of them has a relief of a bat. Another one has the relief of a bee or a wasp or something like that. You have another one that's got a relief of it is obviously a serpent or a snake, and another one that is an obvious arachnid. So which key would you like to use on what?
I'd like to try I'll just go left to right on the skeleton keys art, starting with the top lock, which I'm assuming is the bat.
Okay, and you're going to use the 3 key one on the bat?
Yes.
Okay, you insert the key. Autumn, you're a little nervous because you're aware that locks that have keys, or that locks that tend to have a bit of a magical aura about them, they tend to instill violence. But she turns the key.
I'm aware.
She turns the key, and you hear it just. And after it releases, there's no expulsion of energy, no expulsion of magic from this lock. Marisol, you get the sense that it is now unlocked.
All right, I'll continue left to right, down in descending order with the locks and the keys.
Okay, so the next one that you see down on the door is the one with the snake on it. And the next key goes into that.
Yep.
Okay, you insert the key. And immediately, Autumn, you get this ping. It just suddenly flashes out bright in front of you.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going to get you to roll initiative.
Yep.
Right
Yep,
off
I
the
saw
top.
that one coming. I think I figured out the keys puzzle,
Okay.
but Autumn doesn't know it, which is sad.
Let's go with...
He hasn't even seen the puzzle.
Am I close enough that I need to roll initiative?
No, actually, the only ones who really
safe
need
upstairs?
to roll initiative are going to be Autumn and Marisol, because everybody else is kind of outside.
I thought I was still inside watching over the unconscious cultist.
Yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot that makes any difference, because you're in the main level. They're underneath the building.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure how close I was.
Wait, Indani's in the building as well?
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm watching the unconscious guy.
I thought, well, I know that Roma definitely was. I wasn't sure that Indani was also there.
Yep.
Okay, then there's 2 of us in the building, so.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, so there's 2 of us within screaming distance. Good.
Not really, because they're on the basement stairs. They had to go outside to get to this basement.
I think
That's
Larkin
right.
went outside and was like looking down the basement.
Oh.
Yes, indeed.
Random
we're
disembodied screaming from under our feet. That'd be terrifying.
All right, let's get
Good
this
luck.
thing going. Okay. There we go. So, as you insert the key and it pulses out, you can see the from the pulse. It's almost like it kind of blinds you for a moment because it is so dark down here. But after it does so, immediately on the ground surrounding Marisol, there is just a swarm of snakes. Red and yellow and black kind of ringed snakes, all just covering the floor all around you. And it's like they just appeared out of the light that just kind of pulsed out. Marisol, you get the first turn.
Are they like... Okay, if I look at them, do they look like spectral? Do they look like they're actually going to like hurt me in some
Oh
way?
no, you're feeling them crawling, slithering across your feet all the way up to about nearby your knees. They're like it's just massive piles, almost spilling over into Autumn's space.
Fucking gross. I will like just straight up just start like swatting at them and like doing like a little jig, and I'm just gonna like blow a key point to fucking kill these things already.
All right, so go ahead and roll your attacks.
It's 3 I get to make, right?
Sorry, say that again.
It's 3 I get to make with Flurry of Blows. It's been so long since I played a monk, I don't remember.
It is 3. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, because it's your main strike and then 2 for flurry blows, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's an extra. It's basically what it is. It's your main strike. It's your offhand strike, which for monks is fine, and then it's an extra strike from that after that. So, your first one, you kind of start kicking, but you can't really lift your foot up, and so you decide to punch a couple of times instead. So your first one misses, but the first two, or the second two, actually connect and cause some damage. But as you're punching and you feel like you're actually hitting things, it occurs to you that this is a lot of snakes, and punching might not be doing as much damage as you would normally expect.
Cries and D4 damage die.
Say that again?
I'll leave it at
Okay.
cries and D4 damage die. I'll probably just turn to Odom and pull a snake off my shoulder and yell, "Get out!"
All right. I only moved your token just so I could get to my token a little bit better there. That will end your turn. It is Autumn's turn. Now, outside, you will have all heard Marisol probably shout something, but I don't think any of your passive perception is high enough to tell what yet. So, Autumn, you're up.
Panic! Panic! Magic missile!
All right. As you how many of those do you get?
I get. Let me quick think how much I'm panicking here.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm panicking enough to waste a second level, so 4.
Okay. Roll them all.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you just kind of start seeing heads and tails and rings and just start just launching out some missiles. It seems to be causing a bit more damage than what Marisol produced last time around. That was a total of 12 damage from your various missiles. It's still a fairly deep pit of snakes. Some of them are a little bit little bit bloodied, and actually the second one that you smacked, the force actually split it in half. So, and then still caused more damage beyond it. But that's basically where we're at, what you were able to do. Anything else on your turn?
I'm trying to get up that ladder because I've been told to run.
All right.
I saw weird movements. I shot things, and I'm out.
That will.
I'm aware I'm taking an attack of opportunity.
And here, so three of the snakes try to take a quick bite out at you. Wow, that was a lot of dice that suddenly came on my screen. Does an 11 hit?
Yes.
Oh boy. So I need you to...
Yeah, no, I'm not wasting spell to not get hit by a couple of weird small snakes.
Yeah, so you take 10
seems like a bad
points
decision.
of piercing damage, and now why is this? I gotta remind myself why that is. Yeah. That's because. Oh, hang on. No, that's right. So it's actually just the 10 points of piercing damage, and not the 2 that's there. The 2 is if you had already done more damage to the swarm than you had. So it's 10 points of piercing damage. I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw. I think dwarves have something to do with poison on that, though.
Yeah, I was about to ask you if they were doing some poison stuff here.
It is poison.
Cool, I have advantage on this.
Go for it. I guess we should, make this sound like a little bit more like a battle. What do you guys say? Yeah, you totally save. And so...
Ow!
You're able to get out, but you take a good chunk of bites. That you got fangs kind of launching all over, or scratching up and down your legs.
And I'm just getting out there as quickly as I can, dropping to the ground outside.
Alright.
Like crazy-eyed.
Alright, so that now gives everybody else a chance. After, on the next round, we'll have everybody else jump in on this too. There we go. That brings us to the snakes themselves, who are now left with Marisol only in the basement, or in this cellar area. Marisol. They take a bunch of bites at you. Does a 22 hit?
What do you think? Yes, it does.
Oh, that's a lot of... Okay, so... And go ahead and take a bite... take 10 points of piercing damage, and then I need you to give me a con save as well, please. Oh, that's good. That's a good save. So they bite, but they seem to only... Just so many of them are kind of clawing at your... Or, snapping at your ankles and at your calves. Thankfully, nothing seems to be coming with poison at it, but or not a lot of it, I should say, is coming with poison at it. You do still feel the tingle and the burn come from a few of the bites, and so you take, in addition to that 10 points of piercing damage, you're going to take an additional... What is that? That's 8 points of poison damage. And that'll be their turn. It is now Marisol's turn. Except before we do that, Marisol, anybody who's outside, that'll be Larkin and...
Larkin.
That's just Larkin, isn't it? Yeah, that'll be Larkin. Larkin, why don't you roll initiative in? I don't...
Beltris there.
Beltris would be there, yes. So I will tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly put your tokens on there so we can get you guys into the initiative. Or actually, you know what, I'm just going to add you manually. It's easier that way. Oof. So this is Larkin. Add, and it is 4.16. Okay. Okay, and then let's get... Where are we here? This is Beltris. And quick initiative. Here we go. Oh, even worse. All right. All right. That's impressive. I don't know if I've ever rolled a nat 1 on initiative while I was acting somebody else's character. It's always when I do monsters. Anyway, Marisol, it's your turn.
I'm pulling the snake out of my calf and yelling, "You know what? Fuck this!" And I'm disengaging and scrambling up the stairs.
Ooh. Alrighty. Good call. Well, so for everybody else, you see Marisol kind of come scrambling up. As you're kind of pulling out of this swarm, you kind of, the way you do it is you kind of stretch out your hands along the wall and just kind of lift your feet right up and out of the swarm and vault yourself back up onto the ladder, grabbing the ladder and jumping up and out. That's actually going to take you guys out of initiative at this point. Because
There's a door. Sorry.
because the snakes can't, they're not going to climb, they're not going to and because you disengage, there's nothing else for them to do, so they're sitting there at the bottom here.
Is there wasn't there a door or like some sort of thing over top of covering this?
There was a couple of planks that you guys loosened off to be able to get in. So you
Okay,
can
I'm putting
crawl
them
up and out.
both back on and
Okay.
sitting on it.
Okay.
I just need line of sight. I just need to look. I can deal with this. If that's all right with you, Marisol.
Marisol like very much looks very fucking winded and is like, "What the fuck just happened?" Nods dumbly and just like moves to the side.
All right. And then I'm just gonna slowly like mind sliver each and every one of just keep mind slivering over and over again.
Oh,
Into the
interesting.
pit.
Yeah, you hear hisses. A couple of times you hear screeches as you do it, but it's mostly just hisses that you're hearing at this point in time. Veltris is looking at you and saying, "Miss Marisol, what happened?"
I stuck a key in a lock, and snakes came pouring out.
And
I warned you.
I'm gonna grab the dwarf by the collar and
Hey,
bring
hey!
his face very close to mine. Excuse me?
I warned you they were magical.
Veltris puts a hand on Marisol's shoulder and says, "Don't worry, it can be dealt with." And as you feel the hand on your shoulder, you you feel some of the wounds close up on you. So you take 4 more points of health.
Can I be let down?
She was kneeling, so at least on high level. She'll release Odom and go back to like picking at her legs to see if there's like any fangs left in them or something.
You can pull a couple out. You're still pretty hurt, but that warming sensation that came from Veltris helps a little bit. What are you doing? The snakes, we're going to say that after a few moments, the snakes are still there. And Autumn sits there long enough just to see if another one starts moving and zaps it as well with the mind sliver. But they do eventually all expire.
I think I got them all. So what happened exactly?
I put a key in the lock and snakes came pouring out.
Did you use the correct key in the correct lock?
It's a fucking key. What bearing does it have besides how many prongs are on it?
Well, I'm trying to think how to say this without sounding petty. So not all locks are the same, and magic locks tend to bite back. They get quite angry if you use the wrong key.
Larkin might like peek down at this point after sort of being nervous and hearing slithering sounds and some magic after a while. And if he looks down, does he see them like up, climbed out of the way, but all the snakes still everywhere?
They're out of the way.
We're currently outside.
They're actually outside the building,
Oh, you
so
okay.
you can see all this going down. It's just the snakes. You don't see the snakes. You do see the evidence of the snakes, mostly on Marisol's legs.
Autumn's got some. Okay.
That's why I said mostly.
Yeah.
Best not to mess with magic locks. In my experience, they only lead to bad things.
Or secrets.
Bad secrets.
Autumn's gonna
If
hop
it-
back down.
Look to Larkin. If it's key to finding my family, though, then any secret is worth finding. And I will tentatively walk back down and stand on the ladder and not go fully back down.
All right.
Larkin will
So-
sort of say back, family then, I suppose. Caution to the wind then.
Veltress looks to Larkin, and just kind of raises her eyebrow. Oh, sorry, Marisol. I did that. I shouldn't have done that. So, Autumn, you now
How many
see.
keys do we have? I'm asking Marisol specifically.
3 left, I guess. I used the first one on the bat lock and it was fine.
Can I see the keys, please?
Narrow my eyes at him, but the hand goes out with the keys anyway.
Thank you very much. All right. And I'm, investigating, figuring out what's going on.
Hey, Ryan, roll one for me.
Oh, I think Drew has solved this puzzle.
Oh, okay. But has Autumn?
Sure.
Well-
What am I rolling? Investigation?
Yeah, just a quick investigation. While you're looking at the locks and comparing the keys.
Oh, that should be 10.
Yeah. So you basically what you are surmising is probably what's going to happen. So go ahead and carry on. I'll let you know if there's anything else that comes up.
All right. So the 3-pronged key is gone. Right?
Yes.
It's already
yes.
in one of the locks.
It's already been used. Marisol's already removed it from the lock, but you can tell that lock is that the bat lock in particular is unlocked. The other 3, the one that kind of pulsed out was the one that had snakes on it. Had a snake relief.
All right. The one with the snake relief on it, I'm gonna stick key number 3 in
Okie dokie.
and turn it.
And you do, and no pulse. It freely unlocks.
All right. I'm gonna look for the one that has an insect-looking thing,
Okay, so there's
like a bee or a wasp.
there is the wasp or bee one. Go for it. Which one are you using on that one?
Number 2.
All right. And you insert it, and you kind of have to jimmy this one a little bit, but it finally lets go. You don't feel like the magic releases at all, but it does turn and unlocked.
And then the last one, which I forget entirely what it was.
It was an arachnid. It was a spider.
Spider. That was the word. Okay. All right.
And
Yeah.
sir,
Spider key to the spider lock.
yeah, it's the last one. So you feel very confident inserting the key into this one and unlocking it, and the door, as you can now you actually see that even the door even relaxes a little bit in its space. Just kind of settles on its hinges.
I look back to Marisol and gesture should I push it open?
Actually, get off the ladder and lean over Odom and put my hand on the door, raise eyebrows in a together sort of motion.
Sure. Autumn helps push it open.
All right. As you open it up, you are exposed to again a dark room. This room is about 15 feet by 15 feet large. There we go. It's and with your dark vision, you can easily see it. You can see there is right around the corner of it. There is a circular table. It seems to be a lantern on it, and then there are two fairly large cabinets in the room as well. Both kind of lining across on the opposite side of the wall. Looking at the cabinets, the couple of the drawers look like they've been opened up and not completely closed shut.
Kind of make room for Marisol.
Does it look like this place has been disturbed in a while?
Roll a investigation or a perception check, your choice. It looks with your that perception, everything has a fairly a somewhat, I guess I shouldn't say fairly thick, but there is a layer of dust on everything, and it doesn't look like it's been disturbed before autumn.
Is this a lantern?
It is a lantern. You look at the lantern and you recognize this is not just any basic lantern. This is a hooded lantern.
I'm gonna press to digitize it on.
All right, and let's give you some lumiere. Bright light. And we'll just do it as 30 feet because that'll be good enough. Huzzah! And you can see the things.
I'll pick the lantern up from the table and hold it up at eye level and walk over to the cabinets. And is there any visible things in the drawers that are open? Can I see anything that's inside?
As you start to look in there, I'll get you to roll investigation check. The basic, as you're opening up the drawers, you can tell that they're all free. There's no locks. They're easily opened. You peek into one. Thanks for that, Roman. I'll fix that.
No worries. I just noticed it because I was looking at it to see what the rest of the group was seeing.
Oh, it's because I'm still acting search as well. Anywho, the cupboards are empty, or the drawers are empty, and you kind of get frustrated by the fact that this is a place that doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot, and nothing around for that matter either. At this point in time, Veltris kind of leans down at the top of the ladder. You can kind of hear her voice. Is everyone okay down there?
It's a little cramped, but yeah.
So Veltris is going to jump down then too. And turn to Larkin and say, "Are you coming?"
Larkin will sort of look nervous and rub at the back of his neck and look around and, well, better down there, I suppose, than standing up here on my own looking suspicious. Should we close these doors behind us?
Good idea. And so she steps down and kind of helps you get your...
Before you two join us, can you go grab the other ones?
Does that voice reach me?
It would reach you.
Are they too far?
Yeah, it would reach you, yeah.
I'll pause and I'll say, oh, I suppose that's wise. I'll be right back. And I'll vanish back up the steps and head inside.
Okay.
So where are folks inside? Are they like in the main room or are they inside rooms?
They're in just the main room, I think.
Yeah, because that's where the cultist was at. Wherever the cultist was sitting is probably where the two of them are, unless Ndani's doing some investigating upstairs or whatever.
So I'll come in first, and since I've met Roman a bit already, I'll say, oh, hello there, Roman. Is that the name, right? I think I have that.
Yeah, something wrong?
Your friends found some things in the basement that might need the attention of the group. I think the sleeping and unconscious captives here will be fine without us. There seems to be some traps and creatures below.
I see.
Do we want to leave him here unattended, or roll him out in the street where he may be mistaken for a drunk?
Well, do you want to stay here, or do you want to head in with the others? If you want to go with the others, I can stay here and keep an eye on him.
Would your services not be more useful if they are running into trouble?
Maybe, though. They seem to make do without them at times.
That's true. If you are certain you are all right here, I will go down and see what assistance I may provide.
And Donnie, before you go, I'm going to get you to roll one of the things that you didn't get a chance to do a lot of, and I don't really like acting other people's characters for them. I'm going to get you to roll an insight
Fair.
check because a lot of what happened in the last one was reading faces of these cultists and thugs and things. And so it would only be fair for you to be able to get a chance to see stuff too. And so, generally speaking, what you kind of got from a sense from the thugs who are no longer there is that they really were clueless and they were probably just doing what they were told to do, and that's it. You got the sense that the halfling really had a job to do, but didn't know the reason why they were sent to do the job. They just had more details than even the thugs had, though. The one sense that you get from the halfling is that they were just really interested in the keys. That's it. As for the cultist, most of the time they've been unconscious, so you don't really know anything about them.
Fair enough, so I will then trust Roman to have some idea what to do with him if he wakes up, and go along to see what I can do to help the others.
Marvelous.
And you can confirm that this cultist is not dead, right? I think we said last time that he wasn't dead. He was just very unconscious.
Very, very unconscious, stabilized, but yeah, effed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Alright,
so
then I guess I'll make sure that he's in a more comfortable position, even if that means putting him back up in his seat, because I think he felt flat on his face out of the chair.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'll set him back
Okay.
up then.
Okay. Back into the cellar. Autumn, Marisol, anything in particular that you guys are doing? As Veltris walks in, it's kind of taking in the space of the room. It's still kind of giving looks to Marisol every once in a while of concern.
Odin would be kind of just poking around, seeing what there is to see in here.
Roll me an investigation check, then, please.
Ah, gosh, I forgot to turn. Normal.
It's
Turn
alright,
off
it's alright.
advantage.
I turned it off. I turned it off. It is off.
So, funny thing, Autumn is used to looking for things in places, and looking for places in particular that tall folk would put things. And so he's looking at the top of the cabinet, and Autumn, as you're looking at the top of the cabinet, even though you can't reach it, you can definitely see about a 2-inch space between the top of the cabinet and the roof of this place, which makes up basically a stone roof above you. And you think, that's a place to put stuff.
I kind of like Marisol. And I just kind of point.
Being 6 foot something, I totally can't remember. Can I like just eye level whatever that
Yeah,
space is up there?
you were ducking your head and paying a lot of attention to the drawers. You didn't even think to look at eye level. Well, actually, it would be more like hairline level. But you do get up, to kind of rest your head against the ceiling, look, kind of squat yourself a little bit so you can do it properly. And there's a bag up there, like some sort of a pack. And then you look a little bit to your left, and you see a sword. And then on the top of the other cabinet, pretty certain you see a piece of parchment up there too.
I'll look to Beldris and Odom and say, check out the drawers, and then pull those things down, put them on the table with the lantern, and open the pack.
Okay. And so you open the pack, and inside you see darkness. And you kind of look into it, and you don't really see anything in particular. It's just darkness inside this pack. At about this point in time, Larkin's going to also arrive along with Indani coming down this ladder. If you're okay with that, guys.
Yeah, that's totally great.
Perfect.
I'll sort of make my way down and say, "Well, we're back. Hopefully, you're all still alive."
Oh no, we're dying! Ah!
Veltress rolls her eyes.
Mom glare across the room.
Indani also rolls her eyes.
Oh, come on, have a sense of humor.
We have one. It is just not you.
So, Marisol, you have placed the pack on the table. You're kind of trying to look into it. You angle it and you let the light go into it, and it just descends into darkness, complete nothingness inside there. Not even the bottom of a backpack.
If I turn it upside down, like, does just a fucking shadow fall out or something?
As you turn it upside down, a massive pile of gold coins comes flying out of it. There's gems in it. You see something kind of almost gets lodged in the top of the backpack as you turn it upside down, and then it just kind of pops out. On top of that, as the pile of coins kind of lays out on top of the table, you notice a flask of some sort with some pink liquid in it. Paul kind of falls out of it as well. There was a bunch of stuff inside this pack.
I drop the pack and just stare open mouth for a good second at all the gold. Can I estimate how much that might be?
You guess that it's around 150-ish gold. If you want to get specific about that, you'd have to, take some time to count it up. You do notice that there's a bunch of gems in it, and they all seem to have this kind of a bluish, purplish kind of color to them. And then, of course, the armor. Which, Autumn, you had the detect magic, right?
Uh-huh.
So the armor is putting out some sense of magic too. Just let me make sure I get the right school. I'm pretty certain that it's abjuration, but go ahead and carry on while I'm double checking that.
So I'm sorry. Your parents are cartographers.
Sorry, transmutation. That's what it is.
Cool.
Yes, armor fell out too.
Okay. Joss seems to actually start working again. Well, my dad was an adventurer before and took it up again when we hit hard times. Mom went out with him too. I don't understand.
And you look at the armor, and as you're saying all this, it kind of clicks something in your head. This is your dad's old armor, not the armor he was last seen with, but he did use this armor a long time ago. And you remember that it apparently helped him, who did not like swimming, feel a bit more comfortable.
If Larkin glances about the room, is this like a hole dug into the earth beneath the house, or is it like cemented with boards and like built into a structure beneath?
It is stone laid, a very intentional structure that was obviously built in this particular way, which also leads you to believe. And actually, I'm going to get you to it's kind of hanging out there. You'll kind of pick up on this. You kind of get the sense that because the door and the magical effects that are obvious because there's a pile of snakes out there, probably were built with it.
Interesting. Larkin will just sort of shiver and say to nobody in particular, I'm used to being underground, but I don't like being surrounded by so much, well, unnatural stone. And I'll sort of rub at the walls.
I'll look between the elf and the dwarf eyebrows.
As someone who is not
Huh.
used to being underground, honestly, I couldn't say what would be natural and what wouldn't, but this is unexpected.
Autumn looks very intrigued when you say that. But he doesn't say anything else.
Marisol, did you pull out the other stuff off the top of the cupboards of the cabinets?
Yeah, I would have brought it with. Yeah.
Okay, so in that particular case, Autumn, you would have also noticed the sword has a magical aura to it as well. Transmutation, probably. But the parchment doesn't.
Right?
For mechanics, is it a great sword, long sword?
It is a longsword. Sorry, short sword. It is short. It is a short sword.
Ooh.
Is it like a? Does this ring any bells about my dad having it or something?
Roll a history check. Doesn't ring any bells.
Can I argue that I get advantage because it's my family?
Because the whole basement is completely flummoxing you in the first place, I'm going to say probably not this time around.
Oh, damn. Okay. What about the parchment? Is it a map or something?
Well, looking at the parchment, you immediately recognize. Is there anybody else in the group who also understands Orcish?
Not at this moment in
Yes.
time.
Ooh, and Donnie recognizes Orcish? Fun. Okay, so.
I do.
All right, so Marisol, and Donnie's not there, but Marisol, you immediately recognize the language.
But yes, I am. I came down.
But you can't. You're not really in the room completely yet. It's pretty full in there. Yeah. But yeah, Marisol, you do see this paper, and it reads in Orcish. Actually, you know what? I'll just show it to you in Common or in English instead. So, do you want everybody to see it, or are you going to try and keep this thing private?
No, everyone can see it.
Okay. There we go. It reads, "You are the only one who knows how to get there. The rest are all gone. Meet him there, and he'll give you what we need. As long as it is returned to us, you can consider your debt paid, and the Moonsea, and by extension, your children, safe. I know what you think of me, but this is important for everyone. Signed, C."
I'll lay it flat on the table and translate it for the group while I'm reading, and look up my employer's name. That starts with a C, and my guess would be this is the same C in the letter.
You believe this person is known to you?
Wendy, do I have any knowledge on if Chob and my dad worked together when Dad was working for the Zentarum?
What you do know about the relationship that your parents had with the Zentarum is, of course, that they owed a debt of some sort. I don't know that you actually ever really understood why that debt was incurred, but it was there. But there was definitely a debt there. You don't know necessarily if that was any particular individual with the Zentarum or if it was just the boogeyman Zentarum.
Okay. Look, Dundani, I would guess so. It'd make the most sense if this was the Zentarum blackmailing my father.
So your father was presumably led to a trap?
I don't know. If he was, it could have happened it could be tied with his death, or could have happened sooner. I could attempt to, actually, could I, using maybe my knowledge with like ancient maps or something, could I potentially date when this parchment was written,
Ooh.
when it came into my dad's possession?
All right. Think about that one. I think that would have to be an investigation check on that one. Good question.
Would Odin be able to assist on this, seeing as he has extensive knowledge of old papers as well?
Are you letting Autumn know what you're doing, Marisol?
I just said out loud that I could date it. So.
Okay, yeah, go for it then. Go do it with advantage. Or Autumn can do it with advantage, one or the other. There we go.
Marisol's got it.
Wow. Okay. This was from... You get the sense, mostly because of the layer of dust that was actually on it, not so much from the ink or the type of parchment, but more from the dust that's on it, that it has been in this room for quite a long time. Probably from before the last time you knew your parents sailed out. And you assume that because obviously this was something of your dad's or your mom's or somebody's, and there hasn't been any tracks in this room at all previous to you guys. So you surmise that this had to have been before they last set sail.
All right, so it's about 5 years old then. It must have to do with the Zentarum, but this is making me wonder if the Zentarum had something to do with my parents' death.
It is possible, and whether or not this was leading your father potentially to a trap, I cannot say. But it could be that he failed to do what was demanded, and that may have been what led to his death as well. As it says, by extension, your children will be safe. And yet, it would appear you are not.
Apparently the whole Moonsea would have been safe as well. I don't know what any of this could mean.
Larkin will chime in. Was your father a man of some importance in the region?
Not really. He's from the Many Arrows Kingdom, and
It means that
sorry, go ahead, Nani.
I cannot say what it means, but whatever it is, and however it relates to what happened to your parents and what is happening now, we will find out.
Fist clench. Yeah, we will. As for your question, Larkin, my dad's not even from this area, and my family, well, human families known in the area, but we're not exactly a big part of the Cartographers Guild or anything, and we have it. And even my father's adventuring party is based in Luskin, not Melvont. Aside from the Zentarum, we're pretty unnoteworthy. With this note, though, there's definitely someone else's involvement. My guess is it's Zentarum, but also apparently my dad was the only person that knew the way to somewhere, and there was that him he had to meet.
Just a quick question. Did you see my message to you?
I did. Although, for whatever reason, my memory's failing me and I don't get the reference.
Alright, so then I will help you out. If you recall in the last session, I mentioned how as soon as you saw Marisol, you saw a resemblance to something or someone, and with her explaining all of this, it is clued into you. You don't see lots of orcish type people in Melvont, except for that one time a few weeks ago.
Okay, and the boy was with the person in the red robes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Actually, hang on. Let me
Larkin
double
will-
check that one. Let me double check
Okay.
that one. I feel like I need to double check that. Must find your name in the list. Okay. No, sorry. Red Robes is not part of this at all. That wasn't that something with Autumn? No, there was something else. Anyway, no, this is what you do remember of this boy was that he had made a connection with the person you just ever always referred to as Black Eyes.
Gotcha. Did Larkin ever figure out like what connection they had or what happened to the boy?
Didn't really pay much attention to why. Cause you did cast Augury to figure out if this was something you were supposed to follow, and it was decided no at the time. But you do remember thinking about it, and thinking about it interestingly enough that you had to cast Augury on it.
Larkin will pull on a tug of his hair, long and silver and braided at the moment. Well, being a half-breed myself is uncomfortable, but I don't see many orcish types in this town, and I should say that I did see a young, I think what was a half-orc boy sometime back, associated with a person known as Black Eyes. Does any of this ring any reference or any bells for anyone?
Does that ring any bells for me?
The reference to Black Eyes doesn't make any sense. But you're right. There isn't a lot of half orcs, and if it's a boy, maybe it's Jorge.
I like drop the parchment and immediately, like, not aggressively, but just very like suddenly stand in front of Larkin, eyes wide. Was he tall, very muscular? Did he have a scar on his chin?
Did he have the scar? Would I have recognized that? Do I need to roll history for that?
Marisol, does Jorge have a scar?
Since I just blurted it out, now he does.
Brilliant. So the answer is yes. If you were purposefully trying to describe Jorge accurately, then yes, that is what you saw.
Larkin will slowly raise his hands, almost in a defensive gesture. Well, hold on a second. That does match the description of the boy I saw, I think, but the sort where they were underworld types, not usually.
No, sorry. Black Eyes. Black Eyes was that beautiful merchant lady.
Wasn't she? Didn't Larkin know that she was involved in the underworld in some way?
No, actually, she was just. First of all, she's a tiefling. Sorry, not tiefling. She's not a tiefling. She's not. She's a human woman. Sorry, guys, I gotta catch myself here. She's a human woman, but the thing that was unique about her, she was beautiful. She had no whites to her eyes, though. Her eyes were pitch black all the way around it, and that's why she was called Black Eyes. But she was just beautiful, and she was a merchant, and
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But the orc boy, as described, matches the description of what I
Yes.
saw, essentially.
Yes.
So, okay, so I'll revise that. Larkin says, the description matches the person I saw, but the person he was with was just a somewhat strange-looking merchant, a woman with, classical, beautiful features, I suppose, for a human, but strange black eyes. I only took note because of the eyes, but didn't seem significant beyond that, and forces of, well, divinity didn't compel me to pursue the lead. I just thought they were notable for a moment.
And you do remember that Black Eyes was planning on leaving south sometime soon.
As I recall, they were leaving soon, somewhere south, and so they may already be gone for all I know.
Do you have any more information about what boat they took or where south they went?
I'm here looking for a missing person, someone who looks like me, and so I thought perhaps they might be an interesting lead. They looked out of place, and I beseeched the Dark Lady for advice, but the feeling I got was that they weren't relevant to anything I was looking for, so I let the lead drop. I'm afraid. Maybe we could retrace our steps and find out more.
I don't understand why would they be associating with people like this. I told him to stay away from these people. Starts ranting to herself about her little brother.
To be fair, she seemed a strange-looking but otherwise normal merchant. I don't know that there was anything particularly dangerous about her.
Well, if he's leaving the city with her when I specifically told him not to, then that's either means she seduced him, manipulated him, or blackmailed him.
That's awfully cynical of you. Maybe she offered him coin for her job. As you described him, perhaps he would be a decent bodyguard.
He's untrained.
But does he look tough? Orcs scare men.
Puts a hand on her hip, but then acquiesces. Yes, she does look tough. He had talk of wanting to follow Dad's footsteps for a few years, but when he got his dock job, then I thought that was out of the way. Goodness, did he get Carmen involved with this?
The gleam of coin from a merchant is probably greater than the pittance of a dock job. Maybe he saw a fast path to a secured future, just to cross his arms and brandish his tusks and look tough, and took it.
Or to bring it back to the cynical side, the Zentarum are extorting him now, too.
None of this. There's no good answer here, clearly.
As you gesture to all the gold that's on the table.
Yeah, so, that's a lot.
Was anybody counting up the gold during this time?
I don't think Auden's tried to touch it because he's afraid.
Can Larkin look at the letter and see like how old it looks in terms of the quality of the parchment and the ink?
I'm going to say because it was already rolled at advantage that they've got a pretty good sense as to how old the letter is already. But you could converse with Marisol and Autumn about it, and they could explain it to you.
I'll sort of ask, do you mind if I check out that letter and you have a sense of how old that ink is? Maybe this
5
was
years.
for your brother. Oh, 5 years. Okay, so maybe not for him then.
Well, this is my
very
dad's
unlikely.
armor, so...
I also would doubt your brother knows of a secret storage location that you are completely unaware of.
Sorry, I somehow managed to ADD and not hear that at all. Can you repeat that?
It's very unlikely your brother knew of some place you didn't know of, behind a locked door with magic keys.
I've been out of the city for a good few months and intermittent being here in Malvant, though. He could have found this place or been introduced to it by someone who did know of it. There's at least someone with the initial C who knows of this place and what my dad was involved in.
You could think a bit about that a couple of seconds longer, but your brother hadn't been down here, otherwise there'd be footprints.
True.
Also, it's much more likely that someone brought that note down into here. It was not placed in here. seeing as it was with all that other stuff. Seems like a weird place to set a note that you expect someone to read soon.
Well, we could try to find this merchant and follow the trail south. That seems like the obvious lead. I don't know why I keep saying we, as though I'm coming with you, but I can at least get you that far and see where it leads.
It kind of sounds like you're already coming with, whether we like it or not.
Well, I came to this town for one purpose, and that purpose is run bone dry. Maybe the stars have aligned, and I should follow you for a time.
Like you have much of a choice right now. Take us
If
to
you
a
are
herd
willing
of
to
black
lend
eyes.
assistance, I believe we could use all the help we can get.
Sorry, I had a talk over there. Marisol, what were you saying there?
Sorry, my Discord is just like loves to fuck up at this time of night apparently. Crosses my arms, looks at Larkin. Like, I don't really think you have much of a choice right now. Take us to where you saw black eyes and my brother.
I'll take you there, and I have to collect some things from my stall. I think my time as a merchant in this town has grown short, and so we'll see what leads to next. Are you ready to leave now? I'll sort of look around, or do you want to spend more time here in your home?
I need to lock up and get Roman and right the cultist. But meet out front and we'll go.
Larkin, as all of this conversation is happening, you're noticing Veltris is paying particularly close attention to you. And after a couple of moments of you kind of explaining you're coming with them and them basically asking you along, she relaxes a bit.
He'll take note of it and give a slight smirk, but say nothing else for now.
All right, so you guys are all crawling up out of the cellar. Are you taking everything else with you? Like, what's going on there?
Packing up all the stuff back. I'm gonna put everything into the bag, including the sword. And well, I'll like carefully look at the sword, then the void that is this bag, and like slowly put it in. Does the sword just disappear in it too?
Just give me one moment. I want to double check one mechanic, and then I'll tell you. Yeah, it could go. It goes in without too much hassle. You're starting to notice that there's a couple of other pockets that you realize that they're all opened up and probably got dumped out as well. But yeah, the sword goes into the larger pocket and just disappears.
If I reach back in, can I like grab the sword? Like
you reach back in and you are thinking about the sword and you grasp, and sure enough, you grasp the hilt and you pull it out.
I looked at Odom and I'm just like wide-eyed, just gesticulating at the sword that's just like now just going in and out of the bag, and like I'm making a big deal about the part where it's not stabbing the bottom of it.
Adam is as nonchalant as possible as you're doing this. He's like, "What?"
This is as weird as your stupid book.
I mean, my book is significantly more complicated in its magical construction, but sure, all magic is this. And I'm just kind of wandering out now.
Roll my eyes. Mages.
I was gonna say, I think Indani will like subtly shift so she's that tiny bit in between them. Just be like, God, oh God, no, don't, don't antagonize.
So Marisol, what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to find in the compendium a steward's haversack.
It's not a bag of holding. What the fuck is that? Oh my goodness.
It's the bag, man.
It's
Run.
bag holding light.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, why don't you also mark down 146 gold and about...
We're rich boys.
and about 80 gold worth of amethyst. A potion of unknown origin and armor of unknown origin, along with the short sword. Which, without too much more detail, all you know is that it's a short sword. And that Autumn knows it's got magic properties.
Okay, somehow I was able to actually keep up with that. I'll put the pack on my back and head up and out. And while we're passing the cart, I'll look again to Odom and gesture, didn't you want to sell things in here?
I do, but like I don't know what anything is. I need a pearl still. And I tried to check the jewelry store last night and that was a nightmare.
Alright, when we're in the market then, let's I'll find one and I'll like pat the pack. I think we'll have enough gold at this point.
And as a side note, Autumn, just to kind of make sure you recall, when you did go, there was a name that was dropped for a place that you could possibly go ask for a pearl.
Yeah, I was told another wizard bought one, and I'm not trying to haggle with a wizard.
Okay, and that's pretty much it. I'm just shifting us to theater of the mind a little bit more now, too. Okay, so you guys are all now stepping out. You do walk past your cart. Larkin, you're particularly aware of an odd smell.
Prestidigitation, it no longer smells. Shush.
He'll sort of stop and like wrinkle his nose and, what? Do you smell that?
It was the smell of decomposition.
It smells almost like a corpse or maybe rotten ground soil.
No idea what you could be talking about.
Smell what?
Quick, we need to talk to Roman.
He'll did you like prestidigitate the cart right in front of him?
Yeah, he did.
Probably.
He'll eye the dwarf and then eye the cart. Well, I suppose I already have enough on my list of curiosities for the day, but I'll ask you about that later, maybe. Hopefully you're not dragging around the corpse of a bunch of innocents.
Autumn does not recognize any more of that conversation. He's already walking to Roman.
Casually looks over her shoulder at Larkin. Just complete deadpan. Just the corpse of a dragon.
Oh, a dragon. Like a little drake or something bigger that you've chopped up and put in crates.
Smirks. Wouldn't you like to know?
I suspect I'll find out.
You see Autumn kind of do a head like, oh my god, that's such a big brain move. Crates. He doesn't say anything, but like you see his hands go up to his head like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
I was gonna say, at this point, Indani is just like one hand over her mouth, trying not to show how wide her grin is.
Well, if you need any advice on how to store corpses and transport them, believe it or not, I have some experience with it, and well, I hope that doesn't make you more suspicious of me.
Autumn just turns to look at you. In like just a what?
Meanwhile, Indani just, it is a useful skill. We may have use for you yet.
Not a
Marisol
pleasant
nods in
trade.
agreement.
I didn't hear that last, Marisol.
Marisol is just like nodding in agreement with what Indani said.
It's about this point in time, Roman, that the cultist is now starting to wake up.
Ah. I have a feeling Roman would be sitting across from him in a separate chair, just kind of staring at him.
Yeah, he's super woozy. Can't really open one of his eyes still, because it's still swollen shut. And his hand is still very much disfigured. It just kind of moans and kind of turns his head. He's kind of slouched off to his side a little bit and leans on his hand, then yelps in pain as he realizes, I can't lean on that hand, it's been broken. And kind of lurches himself back to an upright position and looks at you. And says, where am I?
There's there's just kind of a look on Roman's face that it's like he's not really surprised per se that he's, like awake or whatever. He's just kind of sitting there as though he's, he just kind of is used to this kind of thing. And looks back up towards the cultist and says, the same place where your head hit the floor last night. You haven't really moved.
And he kind of looks down and looks like he's kind of thinking really, really hard. And then his eyebrow raises because it's pretty much the only thing that can raise. His eyes don't open up at all, but he looks up to you and says, Did I die?
No.
Where? And then as you say that, he's like, he catches breath. Right? Where are they?
Oh, they're fine. We already got what we needed from them. Just didn't want you walking out into the street looking like that. So.
He's looking at you rather puzzled. And about now is when the rest of you guys kind of walk in.
The corpse disposal is really that easy, huh?
And the cultist just looks straight over to you. He's like, I don't know anything. I promise you, I don't know a thing.
Oh, hey, he's up.
Yeah, and he's still just as useless as last night.
He's looking. Actually, Roman, you have a decent enough perception. You're gonna start to notice a little bit of moisture seeping into the wood underneath him.
Oh my god.
Roman's just gonna kind of look, and then look at him, and just kind of. There's a very muffled chuckle that comes out, probably only audible to the cultist. Before he looks back to the party, kind of expectantly to see what the hell he missed.
Marisol huffs.
We'll talk later, Larkin.
Marisol hefts the backpack a little bit more over her shoulder, gestures with her head to the cultist. Want to give him the usual treatment and have him and let him go with the warning. We have other business to go to now.
And he looks to you like he's petrified of you, Marisol, and looks just. What's the usual? It's like.
Calm down. I already told you your friends got let go.
You mean that's not code?
What? If you're the only person here, why the hell would I talk code?
Dude, she broke my fucking hand!
Yeah, I can see that. She also busted your eye, and, be happy it wasn't me sitting in this chair. You probably wouldn't have a hand.
He's now just completely cowering. He's conscious now, and still, rather beat up, but he's now fully aware of his surroundings, except for where he can't see because of his swollen eye.
So are we letting him go? What's going on?
Yeah, we'll set his story straight. I'm going to pull out one of the rations from my bag. Actually, as I do that, I'm going to ask Marisol for the keys, because this man is still in chains.
I will walk over and undo them myself, take off the manacles, put them back in my own pack, and look at him. Maybe go a little easier with code talk, and clearly she's holding back a laugh.
Cultist kind of looks to you, Marisol. Are you even the same person?
Face darkens.
Oh god, yes it is!
Fuck around and find out.
Man,
And
he must have
Donnie
really
is
messed up his eye.
once again just hand over her mouth to hide just how wide her grin is, because this is great.
Yeah, Roman's looking back and forth between Marisol and the cultist, just like, man, you must have really messed up his eye if he can't even see you from this distance.
I shrug at Roman and just say, I mean, at least he's almost worse than Odom.
Ouch.
Autumn's not that bad.
I meant scared of me, but sure.
Oh, yeah. Roman will hand the cultist the ration and say, when you walk out of here, if anyone asks what happened to your face and your hand, it was a bar fight. Got it?
He looks to you, and then he looks to Marisol, and he looks to Veltris a little bit as well, who seems to be the softest face in the group right now. And Veltris says, "You have a chance. Please take it." And he just nods and kind of clambers up, and edging around the outside of the room as far away from contact with any of you as they possibly can, gets to the front door, looks to you, opens the door, takes an uneasy step out, and then just bolts down the street, slamming the door behind them. And that is where we're going to take a bit of a break, so I can go do my daddy business, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes. Go get some drinks, go for a bathroom break. We'll be right back. Let's do it. All right, so we are back. You have now released your very, very scared and probably slightly ammonia-smelling cultist out of the door. And you are now all gathered in the Hollow Flags Cartography's main space. Marisol with a haversack on her back, and a little bit of a different demeanor than she had perhaps earlier this morning.
I guess once the cultist leaves, Roman would look to Marisol, and since she mentioned something of them needing to talk, would ask, so, what did I miss?
And if you want, for the purposes of story, you could just say you fill him in, or you can be very specific about what you want to say.
I'll start with, we got answers. Larkin might have seen my brother. There's a secret room beneath my house, and a lot of gold in this bottomless backpack. I'll turn so he sees it. And so we're gonna go find a human woman named Black Eyes to find out if Jorge was involved with her somehow.
Okay. Would Roman have any idea as to what the haversack is? Would he have seen something like this in his time in the world of trading and whatnot?
I say roll a history check. We'll find out. We'll use that to find out.
That is intelligence. We get a -1. Let's go. Sounds accurate.
It is a
I'll take it
backpack.
as a no. Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I have been told that there is a bottomless backpack, so I'm going to believe that it is a bottomless backpack.
So, I feel we're okay letting Larkin in on the information of what's in our carts. Is that incorrect? Assuming they will be traveling with us.
Put a hand on my waist. You just want to find out how to store a body better.
I mean, partially true, but are we still giving the corpse to the Xantarum? What's the plan on that? Because, we should probably get rid of it sooner rather than later.
Need to find the Xantarum before we can do that, so while we're in the market, I'll put out feelers for Chob and see what comes back, and if by the end of the day we don't have something, then we can figure it out then.
I'm just getting tired of giving it sense throughout the day. A lot.
Well,
it's getting worse.
Well, while you're at it, I point to the place where the cultist pissed on the floor. Can you clean that up? Because it soaked into the wood last night.
Prestidigitation!
And it smells no longer like ammonia and a little bit more like oak.
No, it actually would smell like mint.
Ah, there you go.
Larkin will chime in. What was that about what's in the cart? You said something about things
dragon
in the cart.
Oh, yes, we were not joking.
So there's an actual dragon back there. That wasn't a jest.
Well, what's left of it, at the very least.
Yes, we did have to do some maneuvering in order to get it.
It's also been decaying.
In there.
Which I think is going to accelerate the rate.
Why ever would you kill such a beautiful and ancient creature? Dragons live.
It attacked us first.
That is their natural habitat to attack things in their lairs or territories.
Yes.
It wasn't its territory, is the issue.
Well, there is that. It was
How
certainly not in a natural place.
I suppose it's dead already. Well, at least it's not the corpse of a bunch of children.
No, I don't think any of us would do that.
No.
I would hope not.
Wendy, I don't like that you said that.
Larkin pulls a strange, wood carving from one of his pouches. Something that hangs at his side that looks sort of bulky, like there's a mirror or a large instrument in it. The outside of it is like carved in various like patterns of wood and trees and like roots around what looks like a transparent piece of glass with stars in it. And he examines it for a moment, sort of pondering to himself.
Augury.
What? Oh, sorry, just one moment. I'm consulting some. Well, it's complicated. I'll explain it some other time.
Huh. Is there anything that we need to pack up here on the inside of this building before we leave?
Just the place itself. I mean, it's ransacked, so not like there's much left to be taken from here.
Want to the map room?
Looks at Roman for a moment. Very thoughtful expression on her face. Smile tugging at her lips before sadness comes over her. No, I want this place as in place as it can be for when Jorge and Carmen come back. But looks again to Roman, smile on her face this time. But thank you for the thought.
He'll nod and kind of shift his gaze from looking at her towards the windows at the front of the shop, kind of out toward. Does the hollow flags face the sea?
No, the hollow
Or does
flags.
it face...
It's not far from the docks. It's a south-facing building. At least the front door is a south-facing door, and but to a fairly common thoroughfare. And if you know that if you were to go a little bit west, you'd get pretty much to a road that would take you straight to the docks, and with just a few steps.
Okay.
You
So I
hear
can't actually see the ocean from these windows.
not from the windows, but if you were to go outside and kind of look between buildings, you would probably be able to see it. It's pretty close.
Okay. Then yeah, I guess he'll just kind of shift his gaze out towards the windows, towards the street, and say, I guess as long as there's nothing we need to pack up, we should probably get moving soon. Just in case our recently departed friend decides to not stick with his story.
A good idea. I'll look to Larkin, gesture towards the door. Shall we?
Yes. Yes. And he puts away the star map and sort of makes for the door. Follow me back to the market, I suppose, and we'll go from where I saw the merchant's stall, and we might have to ask some questions. There should be many stalls set up at the moment, so certainly one of the nearby local merchants probably saw this Black Eyes head in some direction.
All right, and with that, you all exit the Hollow Flags cartography, going towards the market. Is there anything that you guys wanted to do before you get to the market? Prepare or anything like that? Or maybe once you get to the market, is there anything in particular aside from searching for Black Eyes that you guys would want to do?
Conversation with Roman while we're walking.
Okay.
I'd fall into step beside him while we're walking, keeping my voice low when I say, the elf. You're sure about him?
Well, he hasn't exactly done anything to betray anything that I've said to him so far. Though I don't know him nor his intentions. Still trying to figure that one out. And he kind of narrows his eyes, looking towards Larkin, but not really. I'm not really trying to do any like insight checks or whatever. Just kind of narrowing his eyes. He seems strange, like most of us. Though he seems to rely on whatever that map is that he carries with him.
I elbow him in the side, like you with your cleric symbol.
Yeah, like that. I wouldn't say it's very different, though I don't know how his map works.
Shrugs. I suppose we'll find out in time. But what exactly have you told him?
Of our group, not a whole lot. Mostly everything that he knows is something you have told him. I mostly just threatened him and told him, basically, like, don't rat us out.
The urge to insight to find out about the wings is so intense. Marisol nods. Fair enough. Guess I'll have to keep an eye on him and see exactly where the stars lead him. She smiles.
He seems to have been helpful so far. Hopefully, he stays that way.
He's been nosy, but good-natured enough.
Odin is also nosy.
Yeah, but we're stuck with him, so...
And on that note, Autumn, Larkin, and Donnie, is there anything in particular you guys are doing on the way there? It's not a long journey, but... Or looking for, or keeping your eyes out, or doing?
Larkin would wave to like locals that he recognized, and like likely they would look at him suspiciously, then turn away. Since he hasn't really endeared himself to the locals yet, but he would sort of pretend that his half ancestry wasn't an issue and sort of walk boldly through the streets. But if anybody talked to him, he would obviously reciprocate.
Well, and then the path that you would take them on would not be the path through the buildings like you had previously, or like Roman had actually taken you. You would have actually taken them down the main thoroughfares, which basically kind of walks you straight up the main gut of Melvon. You guys don't see the edges of the city anymore. You're in the middle of the city at this point. And Larkin's just strolling fairly freely and openly.
If Adani was nearby, he might turn to her and say, "We look like a ragtag bunch, all of us, in our unusual-looking natures. Probably we're giving this town a lot of stories to gossip about once we've all moved on."
It is not something I am unused to being stared at.
Ha! Yes, well, as you can tell, I have that same issue.
I had noticed that you might share that experience.
Well, I count it as a gift or a blessing of a sort. Our unusual nature just lends us to more interesting lives, I think, and perhaps frees us from the mundane role of being a common fisherman or a seamstress or a simple merchant. It's led me personally to many interesting days.
There's going to be this long moment of silence as Indani schools her features into a fairly wooden but polite smile. How very fortunate for you.
Oh no, not always fortune awaited the end of those days, but all noteworthy and interesting all the same. I think the bruises and the cuts are just as important for telling one's story.
Again, how fortunate for you. It has allowed you freedom.
Not always freedom, but that's a story for another time, I think.
Autumn is walking kind of nearby and behind you, just madly scribbling with his lovely little quill.
Larkin will sort of thumb back. Does he always do that? Just write in that book of his?
I have not been with this group terribly long, but that book makes an appearance far more than I care for it, because I believe he writes down everything.
I too am a storyteller, although I prefer to carve my stories or speak them over a campfire otherwise, but I suppose writing has its place.
At about this point in time, you guys are approaching the market, and so Larkin, you know that there's a couple of ways that you can easily get into the market. There's the main way that all the carriages come through to get in, but most people don't even enter from that way because there's usually a little bit of wheel traffic there and horse traffic. Instead, most people just kind of walk in between the buildings to get into the main market. And so you guys, for those of you who haven't seen the market, which would include everybody but Larkin and Roman and Veltris, except for Marisol, of course, who hasn't been there for a long time. Marisol, it's very much the same as it always has been. You immediately are aware of a guard presence. You can kind of see, basically, right as you enter in, you can see 3 different guards. One a little bit of a distance away to your right, one a bit of a distance away ahead of you, and one almost right beside you as you kind of emerge. There's a plethora of tents and carriages that have, and tables that have been set up, obviously all very temporary. From where you enter, you don't see the back side of the market. Marisol, you are acutely aware of the very strong wooden gate and the large buildings at the back end. You guys do see the buildings, but you don't see the entrance to the to what Marisol, you recognize as called the livestock pen. And Larkin, you're also fairly aware of the livestock pen as well.
He'll sort of wrinkle his nose at that. Odorous place, but I think that's where they keep the slaves.
Marisol, casually, puts a hand over her eyes, and it's just like, oh no, here we go.
Yeah, because what you are going to see is Indani is going to immediately stop in her tracks and go just as stiff as a board. And even though her skin is obviously not given to it, she pales. But doesn't say a word.
In any case, you have the whole market out in front of you. You're only aware of where the livestock pen is. You don't actually see it proper yet.
Am I wrong?
But knowing that it's there will be enough for her.
Fair enough.
Is Larkin has no sense that the livestock pen has anything to do with Black Eyes, right? Like, she was just a merchant in the common merchants.
Oh yeah, she actually was selling music boxes for the most part. Music boxes that she would tinker herself.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. He probably would have been very interested in that. Okay. We're not headed in that direction. You can see by the color draining from you, you're not comfortable with slaves, and I don't blame you. We're headed towards the common square, where trinkets and things of artistry are sold by merchants.
This is common knowledge, and everyone is simply all right with it.
What can I say? The humans are industrious folks. Will cut everything down and bury us in our graves just to build their empires.
And no one does a thing. They just let the people suffer.
What is there to be done? It is their fate. They are in bondage. If they are to be free, then perhaps that will come to them.
If you leave it to fate.
As a former slave, I think I have some idea of that life and what it takes to escape it. But that's a decision for each individual, not something made by
Oh, how
us.
fortunate that fate smiled upon you.
Marisol, you'll recall, of course, that it is the main trade in Melvont, and that even the city guard actually protects it and prevents it from being interrupted.
There's a metronome in my head right now that's saying, do I tell? Do I not tell? Do I tell? Do I not tell? I'll casually walk up between the two of them and place hands on both of their shoulders, separating Larkin and Indani just with like sheer breadth of my shoulders, and then point towards the common markets, eyes like very much on Larkin in like a please shut up look. What about Black Eyes? Did you remember where her stall is?
Oh, well, yes, this way. I suppose we'll leave the philosophical debates for later, yes. And he'll sort of lead towards the stall.
Right. So, for the interests of storytelling and giving you guys a chance to carry on the way you would like to, I'm going to ask for. We're going to make this kind of interesting. I'm going to ask for a couple of checks. So I'd like to have one person provide me with an investigation check.
Odom.
I like looking at things. It's really fun.
Okay. I'm also going to ask for somebody to make a choice of a persuasion check. Or no, you know what? Actually, let's go with persuasion check. Let's just stick with that.
Larkin's pretty persuasive, but would depend on what the persuasion was for.
To divulge information.
I am not persuasive at all. You don't want me doing this one.
Larkin's +5, but maybe it would make more sense for him since he sort of knows the merchants.
Yeah, that's fine. You can go for it.
Is it okay if I guidance myself too?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go for it. Throw that on. All right. Okay, so you kind of get yourself to the place where Black Eyes usually like to set herself up. One of the and when you get to that location, it's not the same person anymore. This person is now selling. The person who set up there is now selling small creatures. Marisol, you take particular note that one of the creatures that they are selling is a snake, and kind of start looking around to see if there's anything that you can, or any merchant that you can pay attention to perhaps talk to about Black Eyes, because this is where they were. You figured maybe one of the neighbors might have been familiar. Autumn, as you're kind of investigating the area, you do notice, and actually this probably should have been a perception, but I'm going to go with it anyway. You notice a fellow, approximately 5'10", fairly well built, fairly large person, muscly, very definitely a hairy person, very hairy human, salt and pepper kind of Sean Connery kind of look to him. And you immediately look at this person and say, that's the person that would hit on a pretty girl. And kind of gesture towards Larkin and say, and Larkin, this is absolutely the person to go talk to. So you go and you speak to this gentleman. Oh yeah, pretty lady. She'll be back. Never leaves, old Bill. Anywho, what did you need to know about her?
Sorry, my internet got a little funny there for a second. So this sort of pretty person, I think, would somehow know where the Black Eyes person was?
Yes, this person would know where Black Eyes. You're kind of getting that sense, and so you kind of, with your introduction to him and kind of the persuasion check was to see if this person was even going to be willing to talk to you about her.
I see. I'll make sort of a curtsy and say, hello there, friend. My name is Larkin Quell, local merchant, traveler, but local for now. I'm looking for a friend, well, more so a acquaintance of mine from the market. They carved beautiful music boxes and had strange eyes, almost black. I don't suppose you saw where they went or what they were about. I wanted to catch up and maybe purchase some of their wares.
Well, how long do you want to wait? She'll probably be back in about 6 or 7 months.
I don't want to wait at all. I need this box soon. The music was so captivating, I can hardly sleep without it. I need to find this woman.
And he kind of twinkles his eyes back and smirks. Says, I know the feeling. Just about packed up my own jets here and followed along. A little difficult for her to sell with me around, though, unfortunately. She has her own way of attracting her customers. Nonetheless, guess you won't take an old wood carver along with him. You kind of look at the stuff that's on his table, and he's carving waterfowl for the most part. So very nice carvings of ducks and geese, and you notice one is a strange one that has a black head and very long beak and kind of black and white flecks wings in the back, folded up over it. And she wasn't interested in these, but that's all right. She'll come back.
Can Narkin tell how skilled this person is at carving, given that's sort of his trade as well?
Fairly skilled in the artistic wood carving in particular. Probably only sticks to waterfowl. You don't see any other evidence of like furnitures or anything else that's kind of an ornate or even gothic variety. It's just all very much waterfowls.
Larkin will pull one of the masks at his side of like a wicked goblin face and hand it to the man. I too am versed in carving interesting things from wood. Your work is quite beautiful, if I might say.
He takes the mask and says, "Huh. Hadn't considered this. An idea. I wonder about perhaps you. And I wonder if you happen to have any owls."
Good question. So like would I guess, is it okay to ad-lib that he might have an owl mask of some sort?
Go ahead and
you want me to make a roll for it, something.
This is just for sticks and giggles, and we never get a chance to roll performance check, so why don't you roll a performance check and just see what happens? Just make it a super simple DC. You don't. It was worth a shot.
Sorry, friend, I don't have any owls, but I might be able to carve you up something next time we meet. Keep the goblin mask for now, it'll fetch you some coin. Perhaps you can point us in the direction where you last saw this Black Eyes went, or to somebody who would know.
Certainly. Well, after a fashion. She was saying something about Procamper. Apparently she has a cycle. She comes back up here, goes Procamper. There's some other place even further south that she tends to visit. But she stays for a few months.
Does Larkin know what Procamper is? Would he have traveled through there? Is it a major hub?
Definitely. It would have been actually fairly nearby the wood that he first appeared in.
Okay. I know the area well. Thank you for the tip. I think I'll maybe head that way and see if I bump into this wonderful music box merchant. If you happen to see her again, please take note of her comings and goings in case we bump into one another once again.
Certainly. Would you do me a favor for me?
Sure, of course. How could I not?
He kind of picks up one of his smaller carvings. This one is another rendition of the black-headed waterfowl with the white and black flecked wings. Do you mind passing this on to her if you happen to see her? Let her know that it's from Bill.
He'll take it slowly and he'll meet the person's eyes and sort of look them up and down a little bit. Is this like a friendly exchange, or is there something more here that Larkin might be able to intuit?
Incite it. He is smitten with her.
He'll just smile and take the carving. Of course, I'll pass it on and I'll say it's from Bill, the wood carver. Yes, or do you have a more formal title you wish me to present?
She wouldn't let me say much more than Bill, but she did at least let me say Bill.
Clap him on the shoulder. Well, I'll definitely let her know you sent me her way, no matter how that conversation turns out. And he'll smile and tuck away the carving.
Pleasure. And he just kind of looks at his mask that you've given him and kind of inspects the carving a little bit as you make yourself away.
So Larkin will head back to the group, and I assume the group's standing together, but I don't know if everybody would be or not.
What are you guys doing?
I believe we're standing in awe.
I would have actually taken Ndani to the side if she'd allowed it.
You would have.
Just radiating very much like a motherly vibe in the moment. Looking to Ndani, you good?
Fine, why would I not be?
Gives her a pointed look because Larkin brought up the slave pen and you had a very volatile reaction, maybe?
The reaction I had was his banal and could care less attitude towards the fact that people are sold as slaves. She continues in a quiet string of curses again in Infernal.
Runs a hand through her hair, pinches the bridge of her nose, sighs. This doesn't help much, I know, but that attitude's very common in Melbont. Slavery is the main export.
Oh, I'm very well aware. That doesn't mean it should be, and for someone who claims to have been in slavery himself, fate smiled upon me. Bleh.
If Ndani will allow it, I'll put a hand on her shoulder, gripping a little bit, not cruelly or mean, but in support.
She will stiffen a little at first, almost like she's expecting you to grip her and snap at her or something along those lines, but then she will slowly relax into the touch.
Waits a moment for Ndani to meet her eyes. I'd burn the place to the ground myself if I could. But for the moment, getting my family out of whatever shit is the main priority for me. But if you're up for it by the end of this, I wouldn't mind a detour back home to set off some fireworks.
I do assure you that finding your family, ensuring their safety, is also my current #1 priority. But I would not be against returning to burn this to the ground.
Marisol smiles. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot, and for that reason, if you at any point feel the need to kill some slavers, just let me know in advance, and I'll make sure that we have a good cover story for it.
I will do my best to pre-plan my, shall we call it a self-indulgence of hatred?
And with that, you are now, at that time, you notice that Larkin is making his way back towards you guys.
He'll be sort of looking over the carving he received from the merchant. And then as he gets back to the group, we'll tuck it away. Well, we have a package delivery to make. It sounds like this black guy has traveled south to... And I already forgot the name of the place. Sorry, I'll write it down. What was the name of the location?
Procamper. Procampur.
To Pro Camper. I know the wildlands around that place some. It's somewhat of a hub. I think I can find it easily enough if we take to the trail whenever everybody's ready.
And Autumn is also fairly familiar with that region.
Yep.
Seems our friend over there is somewhat smitten with this dark eyes. Perhaps she is charismatic in some way. I did not note anything particularly beautiful about her other than she would look, somewhat beautiful for a human, I suppose.
Marisol gives a look to Undani, eyebrows raised, like, is this guy for real? But quickly moves on, walks back over to the group. So we have to go to Camper? That's, forgive me if, Wendy, that's like across the Moonsea, isn't it?
It is way outside of the Moonsea, past the Dragon Reach and
farther.
beyond. Yeah.
That's
right
in the
at
Sea
the
of
end of the
Fallen
Dragon
Stars,
Reach.
isn't it?
It's
Okay.
right out the edge of Dragon Reach.
I don't have my Faerûn map up anymore. Okay, continuing character then. That's, oh, we have to leave the Moonsea region entirely for this? Goodness.
Do we even know if your brother went with? To
Like,
the edge of the Moonsea?
ask?
I didn't catch that. Say it again.
Larkin, did you?
It seems likely. I mean, we can search around for other traces of a half-orc that might have stayed around doing something, but seemed to be in company with her. She departed. He hasn't been seen since, from what you can tell me, so I'm assuming they're traveling together.
You want us to go this far based on an assumption, not on fact.
So much of everyday decisions are simply made on whim. How is this different just by the distance traveled? What other business do you have here, anyways?
If her brother is here, or even remotely closer than the other side of the world...
Do we have proof he's here?
Do we have proof he's not?
So we have proof he's not here, so why are we debating whether or not we should go towards the proof we have?
There's not proof that it is Jorge.
It's loose as it can be. I understand, but it's the best we currently have.
Makes you feel better. I can beseech the Dark Lady for advice on whether or not it would be a wise road to travel.
Look to Roman and a mouth. Religion? This.
Do I recognize that?
Which name is this?
It's just a common moniker for the Dark Lady. It's a common moniker for Illustre.
I don't personally know who that is. I'm assuming Roman would. Is that a normal like religious kind of thing, or is that a druid thing?
Roll a religion check, real quick.
Oh boy, I think that's intelligence also, isn't it?
Probably.
It
Got
is.
Well, not bad.
Bad.
Yeah. So the reason you are aware of the name Illustre is because it is usually used in tandem with the name Lolth. And particularly because Illustre, you know of Illustre as Lolth's daughter that Lolth does not appreciate, because Illustre seeks to be kind of somewhat of a savior of the Dark Elves.
Okay. Yeah, he'll nod to Marisol. I don't know if he would be very familiar with anything beyond that, though.
Probably not, because you wouldn't have come across too many other creatures like this.
No.
Marisol will nod, a bit confused, look to the group at large. I want to confirm, I want to at least get in contact with the Zentarum before we go trotting off to the other half of the world at this moment. We still need to get rid of the debt that's in the cart and have a few more errands we need to run in the city. So for that, I say let's give it another day, and in the morning we can set out. Sorry, I just got a message. We can set out and then organize a ship or something. We still need to find Surge while we're here, so...
Veltrus will speak up and say, I suspect that he is probably at the docks.
I can imagine you are correct about that. He had mentioned missing being at sea. So it is likely we'll find him there.
All right. Well, while we're here, how about we split up a little bit and cover some ground? Keep a low profile. Indani, if you'd like to go get Surge, since he apparently shared more with you than he has with us, that might be a wise decision. Odom, you need a pearl, so let's find that while we're here. Larkin, you can stay with us if that'd be best, since you might be able to have a deal we can find. Look to Roman, you can have your pick of things, I guess.
A quick question, Larkin.
It's worth noting, beseeching. Yep.
Did you actually cast that?
I didn't use augury. No, I didn't do any. I was just sort of accidentally clicked it. I wanted to read the spell text.
Gotcha. Okay, just making sure.
If that's what you mean. Yep. He'll say real quick. It's worth noting because it's important for me being able to sort of read the fates, so to speak. If we intend to set out or whatever task we're upon, I can only read whether or not it's a worthwhile trail to follow shortly before we undertake it. So, if you plan on doing all these other things, I should wait some time before I beseech the Dark Lady.
Eyebrow is raised and lips are pursed up. Sure, beseech all the Dark Lady. Sure, there's some whorehouses elsewhere.
Larkin sort of frowns for the first time at that. I don't think she would take action.
Most don't.
It's not quite that statement.
Look around quizzically. Am I missing something? It's what, not a drow stripper?
Oh, forgive me. Illustre is the Dark Lady, as I call her. She's a goddess of my people, a patron of the surface drow, those bondage and turmoil of the cities in the Underdark. Perhaps you know something of this?
Gives a very blank look back.
It would be most similar to how your mother had the patron of Welkeen. Would be the most similar thing, though not quite the same.
Keen's not a patron of people, though, but whatever. Religion is not my area.
Yes. Not the same at all. Joaquin's a simple god in simple things. Lestre loves beautiful things. Quite different.
Interests are smaller things, but similar purpose for explanation purposes.
All the same, I suppose I'll follow you for the time being, but once you've wrapped up whatever you're doing with these, talk about them, I will seek counsel and see what path makes sense to follow.
Sure. Look to the group at large. Those were just suggestions. Are we
I mean, I still need a pearl, so. Let's go find the pearl. Woo!
Okay, so just to check, where is everybody going again?
Indani is going down to the docks to try and find Surge. Is that all I'm doing down there? Question mark?
Was it, unless you want to do more. Actually, Maisel will lean over to Indani and say, actually, second thought, might be best if I come with you then. Might be able to ask about Black Eyes' ship. Presuming she took it to for camper. So I guess Indani and Marisol now are going to the docks. Likely best to bring Veltris with us then?
Very definitely. And Larkin and Roman and Autumn, where are you guys going?
Larkin would probably follow Autumn, given Autumn's been the friendliest to him and seems to be hunting for a pearl, which interests him. So, seeing the group split, he would sort of say, "Oh, I suppose we're splitting," and then just follow the dwarf.
Okay, and Roman, where would you be going?
Probably back to the cart to make sure no one comes by and tries to take anything.
Yeah,
Since
okay.
I'm assuming it's getting later in the day.
Okay, I get to roll my DM dice for the first time. Gift for me for Father's Day. All right then. So, we'll start off with Autumn. I guess Autumn and Larkin, particularly Autumn. You were looking for a pearl. Last time you had a chance to go anywhere, you went to Blacklebucks and they said they didn't have any left. They suggested a person you could go speak to, but that's as much as we've got. So, what's your plan at this point in time?
I was going to use the merchant man here to hunt through the bazaar effectively.
Okay.
Because I assume he's heard things.
You could always try. Go ahead and we're going to try and do this efficiently. I'm going to get you to try to roll a roll an investigation check. Yeah, roll an investigation check.
Would I have advantage because I got a dude helping me?
Yes, you would.
Presuming
especially somebody who's
Larkin
also
is
good with
helping
merchants. Yeah.
Yep, I would definitely help out.
Thick.
Oh damn. Okay.
Thick.
Very
I
nice.
assume I find what I'm looking for.
You find what's available to be found
No
very
promises,
quickly.
Roman.
Yeah, you find that what's able to be found very quickly. You do find a merchant who dabbles in lightly magically enhanced items, things like coins that will change appearance, illusion coins, and things like that. And this person shares to you this half elf shares with you that there's only one person who would actually have a pearl in the area, and that person is Theodorus, who he uses to enchant his items. But you find that very quickly, and you waste very little time finding that information.
That's where we're headed.
All right.
Why exactly do you need this pearl again? Is it just for novelty? Or are you a jeweler of some sort? I see. What sort of... Oh, you are a wizard, aren't you?
He
just says nothing else.
I beg you for a cleric?
Not quite. I can find myself in touch with the land. The natural spirits of water, the wind, the sun, the rain, soil, those sort of things, if that makes sense.
I mean, everything is part of the weave, so it's not super surprising you were able to find magical enhancement from the lens.
Yes, but I don't toy with the weave like wizards do I? I simply encourage it to grow as it naturally would.
Is that not toying with the weave? You are
No.
asking the weave to do things it was not going to do naturally.
Wizards are disruptors in my experience, and, well, not always welcome at that, but you seem like a kind gentleman sort. I won't assume the worst of you.
I don't believe I have any qualms against nature, I guess.
Have you met many wizards who have done terrible things to areas?
I've read about a few.
Yeah, so that's sort of, I guess, a bit of a general stereotype, but it's one that's proven true in my experience.
Well, I hope to not be on the destructive end.
The gentleman.
Tom is a pearl, right?
Sorry, guys. The gentleman kind of turns to you, also Autumn, and says, "Well, if it's Theo, then you need to be heading out of Malvant. It's about 20-minute walk east of town. Look for the tunnel that seems. Don't go into the tunnel. That's. I mean, not unless you actually are looking for trouble. If you have something you want, you just drop it down the further north of it.
I'm sorry. What?
That this man and is definitely going to make an insight check. Is this some sort of like travelers?
Go ahead, roll your insight check. Yeah, you are fairly convinced that he is blankly, obviously speaking the truth. That you don't go down the tunnel, but you do drop whatever it is that you want with the message down.
Do you draw a coin with it, or just a message for what you wish?
Oh no, you put the coin first, otherwise he doesn't do it.
Well, thank you. Larkin shrugs at Odom. As they walk away, he'll say, if it's superstition or otherwise.
That sounds like a great.
How badly do you need this pearl?
Pretty badly. I have one other option though before dealing with well-wishers. And then I'm gonna start headed back to the original jewelry store. He's gonna ask about that wizard.
Okay. So we'll shift gears then for a moment, and we'll go over to Roman briefly, who will have actually walked a good chunk of the distance with the other three who are going down to the docks. Roman, you do find that the cart is still very much there. The smell is starting to return. And is there anything you're going to do with the cart and its contents at this point in time?
There's nothing I can do about the smell. I don't have prestidigitation, and thaumaturgy doesn't do that. So, he's not gonna do anything, but he's definitely gonna go ahead and like get up onto the cart, like in the driver's seat, and not just kind of chill there. He just wants to make sure that no one comes by to try and take anything.
Fair enough. Then we'll switch over to Marisol and Donnie and Veltris, who go towards the docks. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to get you to roll a perception check with advantage because you got multiples of you guys doing this. And whoever wants to roll a perception check, go for it.
While we're going, could I keep an eye out for... I'd like to be keeping an eye out for any overt signs of the Zentarum or, like, ways that I know how to get their attention?
Sure, let's see what you roll. See what happens.
That was a perception roll, right?
Yeah. Alright, so you don't see much along the lines of anybody who's obviously Zentarum, or you can't see any iconography on anybody or anything like that. You get down to the docks, and it takes you a while to try to find anything useful, but you eventually get, if you recall that on the west side of the docks there was the cabin. You get almost all the way down there before you do finally see one of the people who are working on the docks is not your generally understood pale-skinned Malvantian, but is rather much more green-blue skinned instead. It's Serge. And he seems to be chatting it up while also helping to tie up some rope. Some ship rope, for that matter, not basic climbing rope, but something that would actually be used for mooring ships, and just kind of chatting away.
Let out like a big sigh. There he is.
And he notices you as you guys approach, and he kind of waves out to you. and gestures you to come down to the docks.
Walk down and towards him.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. What did you find?
You gonna finish that sentence? Or just let it run away like you did this morning?
Generally looks confused at you. I know time got away from me, and I'm sorry about that, but did you find anything interesting?
Some answers, and we might have to head out of the city soon. I would rather talk about it back at the shop, though. Are you coming?
Well, and he kind of looks to you, and then he looks out to the ocean, to the Moonsea. And then he kind of looks back and kind of made a friend here. Probably not. I'm not of any help to you, Marisol. You know that. I'm not supposed to be on land as long as I have been. I feel that in my bones. I mean, did you have any idea about, like, did you learn anything about where your brother would have gone?
Across the sea, potentially, if that matters any to you at this point.
And his eyes kind of light up, says, well, I might. Where to? And how? How would he have gotten across the sea?
Her camper and presumably by boat?
And kind of pauses and thinks for a little bit. You can't really just hide a half-orc on a boat really easily.
We do not believe if he went. We do not believe he was hidden.
Well, that depends. Do you know if... I mean, if I had people ransack my house, and I thought that they were coming after me, I'd probably stow away. Mind you, I don't mind the water.
If it seems that if he went, it was potentially in the company of somebody else.
Which was another reason we were here at the docks, to find out, along with finding out what exactly you were up to. But good to see that this will be where exactly we'll be parting paths then.
Well,
tension's obvious in Marisol's voice.
Just you hang tight a second. And he turns and he shouts out, Torrance! And good fella, who's also kind of helping moor some lines as well, kind of looks, and Serge kind of gestures him over, and you see a guy who's about 5'4", not a tall fellow, red hair, red beard, but it's not a very thick beard. It's more stubble than beard, but his arms are very much the forearms are massive. It's obvious from just looking at him that he's got a fairly well weathered sea skin on him. That he's seen lots of sunlight and got a pretty dark complexion compared to some of the others. And he comes over to, yeah, what's up? And Serge says, these are the people I was telling you about. Yeah. Marisol, tell Torrance who it was, because he seems to know everybody here.
Give a look to Serge, kind of like, what exactly is your game here? And I'll describe my brother in black eyes.
And at the description of Black Eyes, his eyes will lift up and he says, "Oh yeah, she left a few weeks ago."
Do you know how many and where she was headed?
Hmm. Well, she usually heads south, and I guess I don't. She usually travels with 2 or 3, and then whoever the ship captain happens to be. But I guess the only really reason I remember is because she had me load some fairly big crates. I mean, it wasn't just me. One of the crates took like 5 guys to load it onto the ship, and she doesn't usually carry big stuff.
And did you happen to see the young man she described with this woman?
No, no orcs, just big freaking crates.
This, and Indani is going to just sort of draw a deep sigh and sort of give a glance over at Marisol first, and then look over to this man. And this may seem a strange question, but it is pertinent. The size of these crates, would they be big enough to transport people?
Well, doesn't sound as strange as you think. We're in Belmont, but whatever. Anyway, I'd say one of them would probably fit. 2 of them probably would have fit humans. The big one that took 5, it would probably fit 2 or 3 or 4 humans in it.
Or just a fat ass from the docks, of course.
Or a very
Okay.
large.
Well, you have to understand, like, to get 5 guys to have to carry this thing, it was big. It was definitely big.
Yes, we understand. It was large. Thank you.
And Serge says, "Well, that's a possibility." And do you happen to know where they were going to go? No, I haven't got a clue. It's just south. She just always goes south, and she comes back. And I don't know. She's always back every year.
We can't afford to wait a year. I'll turn to Indani. So, stowaways it is then.
It certainly seems that way.
Serge says, "So if I'm parting ways, if I'm leaving you guys, Torrance here is probably who I would go with. And Torrance, you're going. Where did you say you're going again?" He says, "Well, just going out to a couple of spots along the Dragon Reach. So there's a couple. Apparently, we gotta take a couple of shipments in from some place that starts with a T. I can't remember what it is." Serge says, "Well, I could keep my eyes open. I could keep my ears open." And I could maybe see if I could find something out and get a head start for you. Listen, I don't want to leave you completely in a lurch. I'm a dick, but I'm not that much of a dick. But I also know I'm not going to be of any use to you here, so maybe I can do something better for you out on the water."
Marisol gives Serge a hard look for a moment before it softens. Do you think you could get us transport across the Moonsea?
Right today?
Sometime soon.
And that Serge smiles. That I can definitely do.
Extend a hand to him, then let us part ways as easily as the tide comes in.
Fair enough. Next tide's in the morning. We'll set south and... Veltris? And Veltris, yes, Serge. Where'd that cat boy go? Oh, he went back to the Noble Hand in Sturligol. At which point, Sturge was saying, I'll send a message back with Thrill. He seems to like to go fast. I'll find him for sure. And Belch just kind of smiles. That would work fine. And Serge shakes Marisol's hand against. It's family. I get it. My family's not exactly one I grew up with. I'm also looking for my own, though. My adopted family. But I do get the importance of family, and so I'll see what I can do for you. It's on the top of my list. I'll be honest, right underneath finding my mom, but it's on the top of my list.
Best of luck.
Smiles and you too? Torrin says, we better get this wrapped up. Good luck, guys. And Serge kind of walks off with Torrance to go and get some more work done.
Well, that is that, I suppose.
Sighs. I don't know if that's passing on a headache or losing an ally, but at any rate, we've at least got more reason to believe that Jorge, at least Jorge, is not in the city then, and probably Carmen and my grandmother and everyone, the rest of my family is with them. So at this rate, we're probably going to have to go to our camper then.
It certainly does appear that way.
All right, then. We have the night and need to get the dragon on, and the fare is in order here, and gosh, board up the shop again.
So you start making your way back towards the shop?
Well, yeah.
Actually, could I pull Terrence aside one more time and ask for the name of the ship that Black Eyes was on?
Yeah, you'd say, oh, yeah, and he kind of starts doing some, it looks like he's counting on his fingers. That one was the Alwyn Russ, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Can I get that in spelling?
I'll type it.
I'll thank him and join up with Eltrison and Donnie and start heading back. Again, trying to keep an eye out for any Zentarum, but a bit half-heartedly at this point, since kind of more just distracted by now what feels like a wild goose chase across the fucking continent.
Yeah.
Velchus will turn to you and say, the Alwyn Russ means the lovely tune. It's Elvish. I don't know if that means anything, but if you're going to be on a ship where you're going to want your people to be safe, that sounds like a lovely name for one.
Oh, turning to Donnie, is that part of your anti-slavery network that you're in contact with?
Wait, what?
You've mentioned that you're part of an anti-slavery network, right?
No.
Oh, my bad.
She is just anti-slavery. She just kind of runs around and causes shit.
Okay, I don't know why I ever thought that she had an organized bone in her body.
Hey, she's doing her best, okay?
Mm-hmm. And I will not say that. And continue on with Eltris. With your, this will sound extremely racist, but is there any particular organization within either of your societies that indulge in anti-slavery practices or help with escaping slaves?
Velchus would sigh and say, most of what the Noble Hand does and what Helm does is guard. One of the things that I hope to do through Helm, through his leadership, and every time he says Helm, he's kind of, every time she says Helm, she kind of says, kind of leans, kind of gestures to her gauntlet, gestures to her armor, says, trying to help people recover for themselves from unfortunate circumstances, usually of their own making. But that doesn't mean that other Helmites don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to recover people from slavery. In fact, very, very many of them actually do. And very many of them actually come from the Noble Hand as well. That was just never my calling. My calling was to help people recover themselves from poor choices.
And maybe there's the hope that your people are behind Black Eyes and wherever Jorge has gotten himself to.
We can hope, she says as she's smiling.
We can hope, and as always, we can plan. And as I have said, whatever it takes, I will have your back.
Marisol nods, whatever it takes, and thumbs the mask she has in her pocket because fuck a fashion. She has ginormous baggy pants and huge pockets to fit it.
Pockets!
She's basically wearing like Baja pants. She's fine.
All right, Autumn and Larkin, we're going to switch over to you guys for a couple while everybody's making their way back to the Hollow Flags. You are going to Blackabucks.
All right.
Okay, and as you arrive...
I assume it's open?
Yeah, you can get back there again. I can pull up my notes on Blackabucks here real quick. Hopefully. But yeah, go ahead. What were you planning on doing while you were there?
I would like to go inside and find the storekeep.
Okay, so the storekeep, this is the part that I was looking up real quick. Blackabuck. Where are you? Corefire. That's this. So you walk back in there, and Corefire, a halfling. Kind of keep your eyes open now on halflings, just because. And actually roll me a perception check while you're at it. But you walk in, you do see Corefire. He's at the counter as he was, same place as he was the night prior. He's kind of wiping things down. Ah, you're back. I see.
Can I just say I failed the perception check because that
Yeah.
seems more accurate for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I just failed it instead then.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm worried my next roll is gonna be good, so.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna waste it.
Larkin, you're with him, so if you want to, you can roll a perception check, but it's up to you.
I think he probably would. He's curious about this place and these people.
Sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, you happen to notice another halfling. Kind of in the back corners of this shop. It's a fairly large shop, and there's lots of shelves and lots of tables with different wares on it. Most of it is underneath a kind of a lock and key glass kind of cabinet idea. But you do notice one, and as you step in, you kind of notice them kind of step to a corner and out of sight. Corefires. You're back for more. Did you find it? Did you have something else that you wanted?
I wanted a reminder on who bought the last pearl, because I kind of forgot to write it down.
Ah, okay, that's that I can definitely help you out with. That's the Theodorus.
Can you please spell that into chat?
I can, Theodorus.
Okay. And where did you say he was?
I don't think I did say.
Where might he be then?
Oh, sorry. I guess that's the question you were trying to ask. He is he has he's a bit of a hermit. I don't know that anybody's actually seen him in a long bloody time. But he's on the outskirts
Tell
of
him
Melmont.
a pearl?
Sort of a messenger on his behalf.
Okay.
But it's he he has this place. I'm told it's basically just a well that you drop things down.
Oh God, Larkin says.
So he
The
says
well again.
you have to understand he's well, he's like you. He's a wizard, and he does a lot of enchanting. But for whatever reason, he doesn't like the outside. Mind you, come to think of it,
Larkin
you're also the
eyes
only.
Odom.
Sorry, you're also the only dwarf that I've seen in a fairly long time too. Most of them I don't find anywhere near Melvont. It's too much seagulls.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Sorry, Larkin, go ahead.
Do you need anything, Larkin?
I was just gonna say, you see why I don't like wizards, right? You see this? It's a man who lives in a well and hoards jewels.
Some people are peculiar. I tend not to cast wide nets based off of assumptions like that. Let's go.
Do you want to go find this?
Yes.
All right. And as they sort of head out, Larkin will mention to Odom, there was a second halfling back there. Did you see that?
I mean, he's a halfling. Who cares?
It didn't look like he was comfortable with you coming here. Did you pester them the last time you were in this shop?
I pestered the shopkeep the last time, but not anyone else. Place was basically closed.
Maybe it's nothing, but it sort of looked like the look you would give somebody who expected to rob you and you were about to put a crossbow bolt into.
Was he that halfling that Roman tackled?
Was he? Or a different halfling?
You don't know?
Shrug. I don't believe so. It's possible. And probably should get better at noting halflings from one another.
Alright. Well, we should probably head back to the shop to inform them that we're going to a magical well on the outskirts of town and hoping for the best.
Do you know this Theodaris they said at all? Did the name ring a bell to you?
No, but wizards are a secluded bunch, so that's not surprising. There are very few major groupings of wizards.
Well, lead on. I suppose it shouldn't be hard to find a well somewhere outside of the town, he says sarcastically.
We've gotten some decent directions. I'm sure we'll be fine. And we
Okay.
head back to the store.
All right, and so actually, you two will arrive back at the store probably about a half hour before Marisol and Donnie and Veltrisville. And as you get there, Roman's sitting on the cart.
I press to digitize almost immediately as like the smell hits my nose. How have you been sitting out here?
Yeah. Which way are they coming from? Are they coming from like in front of Roman's view or from behind him?
Well, the cart is currently on the east side of the building, and they'll be coming from the west.
So off to what? Roman's left? Right?
Yeah, to Roman's right. Yeah.
Okay. So he would see them approach, and Odom cast the spell. There'd
Probably.
be
Potentially, it's also possible that Autumn and Larkin would just suddenly appear around the corner and immediately cast it right there. Depends on how you're sitting with the cart. But yeah,
I mean,
something
obviously
along those lines.
yeah, he's sitting in the driver's position.
Yeah, then you wouldn't see him until they come around the corner.
Oh, that's fine.
How have you been sitting out here?
Well, you get used to some things when you stay near them long enough.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Though.
You want to take a trip out to the country, to the outskirts of town?
For what?
We got to go to a well for the pearl.
A well?
A man in a well, to be more specific.
Yes, yes.
You're searching for a man in a well outside the city to give you a pearl.
Yes.
Do you
When you
understand
put it like
how
that, it's
insane
very
that
simple.
sounds? Do you understand how insane that sounds?
Kinda. But, like, that's the situation I'm in, so... You can either get on board or, not.
I'll say to Roman, have you met many wizards? I don't think this is that strange for a wizard.
I
Well,
know a guy who trapped himself into a book.
there's just a strange look he was looking at Larkin just as Odom says that, just a dumbfounded look as he looked back to Odom. Okay. But no, I haven't met many wizards. They're not exactly welcome from where I'm from.
Well, they're welcome anywhere.
Some places they're more welcome than others. We have an area of the city dedicated to them that's a little, less, preserved.
On to the well then, I suppose. Let's get this pearl. Apparently it's very important before we leave. The others aren't here yet, so we may as well make use of the time, huh?
Good luck with that one. I'll wait for the others to stick around, I think.
Alright. Tell him where we were.
Yeah.
Alright.
You afraid to,
As
you
to
afraid to
how you-
leave the dragon's corpse? Is that it? Is that why you're guarding it so closely?
That, and there are a few other things in here that are a little important.
Why we need the pearl.
see.
Exactly. That's why I'm wishing you luck on finding it.
Yes, the sooner we don't need someone babysitting this cart, the better. Alright, to the well! Autumn starts walking off.
Alright.
Larkin shrugs and follows.
There is a very confused look as he watches the two of them walk off.
Alright.
The dynamic
Most
duo.
confusing conversation I've ever had.
So Autumn and Larkin, I'm gonna get you guys to roll your choice of perception or no, you know what? Yeah, perception or investigation, your choice. While they're rolling that, Roman, in about 20 minutes, the other three show up.
Oops, wrong one.
Neat.
My bad.
It's the same number, though.
I suppose that's true. Well,
Yeah, but that was better. That's the I prefer that one. I'm gonna take that one. Okay.
This map is odd. Just we'll go by feel.
So Marisol, Veltris, and Donnie now arrive back at Hollow Flags.
As a character, I can't wait for this.
Can't wait for what? The well sequence?
No,
very
Roman
confusing.
trying to
Oh.
explain where the
Oh,
others
yeah. Yeah. That'll be something. Still trying to figure out how I'm gonna word that. That's we'll not start there. We'll start with you guys.
Yeah.
We'll walk up to Roman, just looking very tired. So for camper it is. Sarge is organizing for us to have a ship to sail on there. It was in the morning, wasn't it, Wendy?
You didn't give that instruction. You said just not yet, not today.
Okay. I'll figure that out later.
In the near future.
In the near future. And he won't be joining us, apparently. The sea is calling or something like that.
Yes, he's setting off today, I believe.
He said he'd look out for Jorge and any sign of black eyes though, so amicable enough departure, and yet another in the string that we've had.
So you've been able to confirm that at least Jorge went with this woman?
Confirmed is a stretch. A very fucking heavy crate had to be carried by 5 men, and it was suggested that Jorge could have been in the crate as a stowaway. So if maybe Black Eyes had him stow in the crate and they shipped off to the camper, which raises the question of if it was coerced or a choice that my brother made, and if Carmen and the rest of my family are with them, but it's a lead. And at this point, Mel wants. I've been home long enough at this point.
Roman kind of squints his eyes and kind of cocks his head to the side as you mentioned the rest of your family, and says, "Would he leave without the rest of them? That doesn't quite make a lot of sense in my head."
Well, my aunt doesn't really get along with the rest of us, and I'm not sure how likely he would have involved them, but at the very least, he would have brought up my grandmother. I have a cousin out in the Dales, but she hasn't been home for a couple of years since she got married, so.
And what about your sister? Would he have tried to take her with him?
Naturally, but like I said, if it was a course thing, then they might not have had a choice.
To be fair, we are unsure how willing he left.
And again, if Black Eyes is with the Zentarum or an independent party or doing this by herself, a lot of answers that we'll probably have to find at sea at this point. But that's about all we uncovered. Did Larkin and Odom find their pearl?
Sort of. I'm still confused on what they plan to do. They mentioned something about a man in a well outside the city, and that apparently this guy had a pearl.
Are they robbing the homeless?
Sorry. They're looking for a pearl. And they're going to see a man in a well.
That's how they worded it to me. If that means something else to you, please let me know, because as far as I understand, they're going to get scammed.
I have never, ever heard a compilation of words that makes less sense.
I don't know. It sounded like they were like whoever this guy in this well is wizard or some other kind of magic user as well. So maybe that's more normal for those kinds of people. Though Odom doesn't seem to be like that. He did seem to find it normal-ish.
Marisol just throws her hands up and is like, "Magic, nope, not doing it," and walks inside and just like is done with this conversation.
And Donnie is literally scratching her head, like at the base of one of her horns, and like her face is screwed up, almost like she's in pain, trying to get this through her head. So they ran off, looking for a magic man in a well for a pearl.
Outside the city walls. Yes.
Okay. No. No. Just no. No. Leave them to it.
That was my thought exactly. I wished him luck. Hopefully that's enough.
It will have to be, because I'm No. No.
Veltris has already gone inside and has got one of his retainers to help start making some meals and such. And Donnie, are you heading back inside then too?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. And Roman, you'll head in with them too? Question mark.
I think he's probably gonna chill at the cart until the other two return.
Okay.
Though he is gonna go digging for that stringed instrument of scribing. You haven't decided what instrument it is. Does that mean that I can decide what instrument it is?
Hang on, I gotta go back into my notes on that one. Instrument of scribing. Golly, where on earth is that in my notes? I'll have to look at that later on.
Yeah, it was part of the cart when we got it, and I was only informed because Odom told me.
Right.
That it was there.
Okay.
For the record, in my notes, it is just a stringed instrument of scribing.
Yeah, I think. I you know what? I recall this now because what I had to do with it is from Castle Vathar. Wow, we're going back in time. Okay, so, no, I had to look this one up, and it was, it would have to be a zither of some sort. So, like a violin or a viol or something along those lines.
Okay. So not exactly what I'm looking for then. Alright, that's fine.
Right. Sorry, being as lore relevant as I possibly can be at the same time, right? So.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just
yeah, okay.
you mentioned that it was a thing, and I didn't know whether you had decided on what instrument it was.
Yeah, I remember having to go through that and say, no, it's one of those things where you would actually take a bow across the strings, kind of thing. So, I mean, you could get creative with it if you wanted to say that it was not your regular cello, but it was like a lute that had the bent neck so that you could actually zither it. But it's up to you if you wanted to do something interesting and creative with it. But yeah, you can go ahead and find, and you find it.
Okay. Yeah, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be. I'm assuming it's a much smaller stringed instrument if it's meant to be played with a bow.
It doesn't have to be. You think about a cello is a fairly sizable instrument. You could actually take it as like a bass lute kind of idea that's just been tailored in such a way that you can actually get each string with a bow if you wanted to. For that matter, you could probably also play it pizzicato and just throw the bow away.
He'll try doing it that way. He doesn't know exactly how to use a bow, though he does know how to play, or in his past would have known how to play one particular stringed instrument that I do not have listed on his sheet of proficiencies yet, because I need to wait till I get a feat to give me that.
Gotcha. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay.
So yes, there would be a hint of previous proficiency, however, very much long gone.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so with that wonderful roll that Larkin made, Autumn, you're trying to keep track of where you are for the most part and cannot really tell. The sun is setting.
There's a lot of cool stuff to look at.
There is, and it's all above ground. You don't see anything that seems like a well or anything like that nearby the path, and that's your issue, is that you're paying more attention to the path and the ocean and all the other things nearby you, that you're not looking off into the distance. Larkin sees the well. But before he sees the well, he also sees kind of it almost looks like a now the word's escaping me. Like a cold storage entrance that just goes into the side of the hill, and the well is just a little bit set north of that entrance, a little bit north and east. Say they're probably around, I don't know, 35. No, they're gonna be longer than that. They're gonna be like about 100 feet apart from each other.
Okay. So he'll sort of look to the dwarf, and if the dwarf doesn't seem to have noticed what he noticed, he'd nudge him with his elbow a little bit. There you see it in the well.
Oh, yes.
You see past it. I don't know if your eyes are as good as mine. Some sort of. Is it like a cave or like a hole or what? What does the other sort of entrance look like?
Well, the entrance looks like it's just an entrance into the hill, that could very easily be considered like a cold storage cellar type looking thing that's obviously been rough hewn, and that's about as much as you can tell from this distance. The well just looks the well is actually a little bit more square in shape as opposed to circular in shape, but it is there.
Gotcha. And the entrance into the hill, is it like naturally carved or is it like wood structure?
It's dug out. It's not a there isn't a wood or stone structure at the entrance that you can see at any rate.
Larkin will sort of gesture with his hand and move back and forth a little bit as he explains. You can see where the shadows touch just beyond it. There's some sort of an impression, like a hole or a ditch or something that's been dug. Perhaps some sort of cave or hiding spot for whoever owns the well.
Yeah. Or he lives at the bottom of the well, literally, which is like, I mean, the chances are pretty much the same here.
I mean, it's more interesting, I suppose. It makes for a better story.
I have an idea. I'm gonna crack out my book, and I'm going to like slap it effectively to cast detect magic as a ritual without having to do ritual stuffs.
Okay. Let's see here. How far away are you from it right now?
I assume we're 10, 15 feet away from the well.
Oh, okay. You're on the hill. Okay. Fair enough.
I assume we're still headed to the well.
I think so. I don't know why we wouldn't, unless there was like obvious hobgoblins or something standing around it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, hang on a second. I gotta do some quick looking here. Okay. So yeah, you cast detect magic, and directly beneath you, very faintly at the very edge of your detect magic, because of how tall this hill is, you kind of surmise it might be in line with where that hole or where that entrance would be. And there is a very faint aura of magic. It's so faint you can't even really detect the school that goes with it at this point.
This is down?
Down, straight underneath you.
So, just for the record, I cannot detect through 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Oh, well, then you can't see that.
Okay, cool. I just kind of get over I just want to get over the well and just kind of like peer using the spell down the well.
There's nothing.
All right.
But what you do see at the well is a rope with a basket attached to it that's all the way up. Just kind of sitting on the back on the edge of the well.
All right.
That's where you put your note in your coin to get your pearl.
I would like to ask more questions before I just send money down. Like, I don't know how much he's charging. Like, it seems rude to assume, right?
What's the going rate for a pearl in these parts?
Well, I mean, it depends on how big it is. It depends on the luster. I'm looking for one probably around 100.
Shrug. All right, well, send a note down asking for a price.
That sounds like that was my plan. I'll send a copper down as like, see me fee.
Larkin's gonna wander off and say, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go look at this thing over here," and he's gonna go look at the ditch.
Okay. All right. So you still have your detect magic up? What? Okay. So you drop the basket with your coin and your little message. What does the message say again?
What pearls? Like, looking for answers on pearls.
Okay. All right.
Looking to purchase.
Okay.
Guy standing at the top of the well is how it's signed.
Okay. All right.
He's not gonna know who I am.
So you drop this basket with this slightly cryptic message down the well, and you feel the rope go slack as the basket hits the bottom, and you sit there for a couple of moments. As you're sitting there, Larkin goes over to that ditch, and as you get to the entrance of that ditch, you do see that it is a tunnel. Like, you're now about 100 feet away from Autumn, and you're looking into that tunnel, and it is a straight hole that was obviously dug out here to look somewhat benign, but you can actually see some hewn stone walls about 15 feet in, and it goes straight in.
Larkin's gonna use his ancestral magic or his racial magic for daily casting of dancing lights, and send one of the glowing orbs down the passage and see what it reveals.
What's the range on those suckers?
120.
120.
120. So you send the dancing lights into the tunnel, and it keeps on going, and you can see the glow kind of getting fainter and fainter. Thankfully for your vision, you can see it. It kind of stops around 80-ish feet away, as you see just an end. Might be wood, might not be, might be metal. It's a long distance away. It's tough to tell.
Does it slope down, or does it just go straight?
It goes straight, and looking straight up, the hill, this hole goes into the hill, but the hill still extends a good solid 30 feet, 50, maybe even 50 feet at its peak above you. This is a strange hill, a strange location for an entrance into a hill. Usually, if it was a cold storage, it would have been higher up in the hill.
What about the area outside the tunnel? Is there signs that the soil's been recently moved, or does it look like this was sort of excavated a while ago?
It's very much grown over with grass and thistle. No, there's a little bit of dandelion around it, but that's pretty much it. There doesn't look like there's been foot traffic in here for a long time, and whatever foot traffic happens to have been here is so light that the grass is already going back through again.
Larkin will send one of the dancing lights in Odom's direction to get his attention, just darting around in front of him for a moment. And then when he looks over at Larkin, he'll wave him towards the hole.
Yeah, so you get...
Autumn's gonna point at the well.
Oh, I suppose I can send one down there, yes, and he'll pop one down the hole.
Okay, it's just far enough that you can actually get it to the bottom, and as it gets to the bottom, just as it gets to the bottom, you also start to notice a little bit of a glow, a transmutation glow on your detect magic, Autumn, and some sort of strange object appears. It looks mechanical, and it has arms and legs, but it is very definitely not humanoid. It looks like a small automaton of some sort, a robot of some sort. And it picks up something out of the basket, looks up, and then runs back out of the well, which you now realize there had to have been an entrance to the bottom of the well.
When he looks up, Autumn does wave.
Okay.
For the record.
He'll come back over. What is it? Something at the bottom?
Yeah, a thing. A creature of some sort. Seems to be made of metal.
Like...
Do you think this rope could support our weight?
No, I wouldn't test it if I were you, but maybe mine more than yours. I could probably get down there if you want me to.
I feel like you have a problem with wizards, though, and that could end poorly.
I mean, if I go down there and some spell or contraption goes off and murders me, well, yes, I will be most displeased and probably haunt you.
Also a possibility. If I go down the wizard, sort of, like, I'll look. I know what to look for.
But I can turn into a little thing and crawl on the walls if needed.
That's okay. So what if we both go down and we go with that plan.
What's the all right, that's fine.
All right.
I'll spend a wild shape to I think, what is the smallest thing I can do that climbs on walls at this level? Let's see.
Oh, good gosh.
A monkey. A monkey would be doable.
On walls.
Are you
Down the
able to
well?
have something with climbing speed at that low level?
Climb speed is not one of the restricted ones. It's swim
No,
speed
it's
and
not.
flying.
Yeah, that one. You know what? I don't actually know the answer to that one. You'll have to look that one up for you.
Yeah, I assume a spider, but
Yeah, you could do that.
I think certain monkeys. I think like if you try to become, I don't know, like a baboon or something. I think that you're low enough level. I think that CR is low enough for you.
yeah, spiders are CR0. Druids can do it at level 1. So
Sure, go for
it's
it.
tiny beast though. So not a lot of hit points.
For the record, I have him help tie a rope up here so that I can get down as well.
Okay.
Around a fucking spider?
No.
No,
Wait,
around Odom.
What are we securing this rope to? A tree or the well?
Well, the rope is already secured to the well itself.
Oh, sure. I'll try the well rope. That's fine.
Okay.
And I'll sort of throw my cloak off and then shimmer for a moment at the sound of leaves blowing in the air. And the next thing he notices,
Yeah, I turn
tiny
for
spider.
1 second. Larkin?
I'll stand up on my rear spider legs and wave my little spider legs at him.
All right. Cool. And I kind of like reach my hand down to kind of like help get him down fast, like farther, faster. Because I assume
the spider rubs one of its mandibles, seeming to consider the indignity of the carry, but allows for it.
And climb down the well, I guess.
All right. Can you just give me a general athletics check, please, Autumn? Okay. All right. So because the rope has been securely fastened here, it you kind of test it. You kind of lean against one side of the well to make sure it's actually going to hold you, and it does. And so you start to belay your way down, kind of gently and grip the rope in such a way that you can anchor yourself. You get both of you guys get around 50 feet down, and you start to be aware that there is a bottom. And just as you kind of become aware of that, you get, and the rope just snaps. Apparently, it was old enough that it was not going to sustain that much weight. And you fall.
How far?
I assume I'm clinging to the wall when he falls, and so I just watch it happen.
Yeah, pretty much. Or, I mean, you could also use your web because you are a spider.
I'm so tidy. Yeah, I'll make a little web string and try to follow after him.
All right. So, yeah, the rope kind of snaps and you just free fall backwards. You smack against the bottom, kind of this dust cloud beside you. Take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
I assume I've crushed the small basket.
Oh yeah, very definitely. The basket's smithereens now underneath you.
Yikes.
And
ouch.
Let's see here. You are a spider though, Larkin, so I haven't quite got that completely set up. But let's give you...
Oh boy. Don't like the sound of this.
Alright. Get you here. Da-da-da. Technology is working for me. Alright. And... huzzah. So, Autumn, I'll have to fix your hit points, because you'll be at what? Or did you already take your 3 hit points off?
I have taken my damage.
Okay, good.
Taking my licks.
So then, let's get you to see the things, and I'll get a spider on here that's Larkin as well.
Oh god.
You made a map for this. You expected this to happen. Good God.
All
It's
right.
hard not to give me a well.
I
It's-
mean, let's be honest here. He put a magic man down a well.
Yep.
Given
sure did that.
our track
Yeah.
history, someone was going down the well.
This is such a big fucking map. Oh no.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
We're never finding their bodies.
We got this.
So,
Alright, I'm gonna wait for Larkin.
I'll
or
get to
a
the
spider
bottom
that
and
looks like Larkin.
yeah, make little chittering sounds, but speech isn't possible as a spider, so that's all you get.
alright, I got some weird stuff happening here, so just bear with me here. Get the stream to actually look right. Do not know why this thing has vision. So, fixed. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Complicate everything.
They make it interesting, that's for sure. Alright, so there we go. We'll switch our gears now so that people can see this lovely thing. Alrighty. So you drop down to the bottom of this well, and you do see an opening at the bottom of it. And it is all very much a very tiny, a very small, narrow, 3 foot wide, probably 5 foot, no, not even 5 foot, 3 foot tall. Actually, it's not even going to be that big. It's going to be like 1 foot by 1 foot tunnel that kind of extends out in front of you. And at the bottom of it, you do see a chamber open up.
Alright. I kind of like gesture for Larkin to head on in, take a look.
I can't see the
Me
map,
to, like,
by the way, but I will try to like sneak under a door
Oh.
if there is one.
Hang on.
there's a
Why
little
would
hole
you?
that I would lead you into.
You should have. Why would you not see that? Let's see if I can make sure I fix that somehow for you. Edit. Oh, that's weird
Does
that
he
you
have
don't see
control?
that. He does have control, so that's why I'm befuddled.
Yeah, reload my window. Maybe it's a issue on my side.
Might be.
It's the bottom left as well. Or, like, left.
Well,
or
it's actually the
side.
middle left. Yeah. Yeah, the middle left.
Yeah.
Alright, reloading real quick.
Spiders have dark vision. Because that would probably be part of the
No.
difference. Because if not, that's why you can't see the things.
I don't know.
Oh, they do have dark vision, so I better give that to you too.
Do they not? I mean,
No.
okay.
Alright, that might help a little bit.
You know, weirdly enough, it didn't. I still only see black. I can see the map, but nothing inside of it.
Oh, that's weird. Alright, well, if you want, you can look at the stream because it's the only... That'll tell you.
Let's do that.
Okay, so...
Maybe just put Larkin's token on the board so he can control that and just magic that it's a spider.
Might have to. Give me 1 second. In any
I can
case...
see the stream, so that's helpful.
Okay, so go with that on the stream then for now, then. Just because that way it won't take up too much energy to get that solved. And we'll fix that for next time around. But, so you can now see this tunnel in, and at a little ways in, you can actually see just the side of one of these little mechanical creatures that Autumn must have been talking about.
The spider will take note of the mechanical creature, but otherwise it'll like climb sideways on one of the walls and make its way into the room.
Alright, I'm going to get you to roll stealth while you're at it, then, if that is what you're attempting to be.
Okay. I don't have. Can I use the spider stat block from my animal companion?
Yeah, you can. That's what I've been using, is actually your animal companion to do all this stuff.
Perfect.
Alright. Good to know. Okay. Alrighty. That is... Oh, that's interesting. Why isn't it showing up? That's okay. So you start making your way into the room. Let's go up to about here. No, I'll get you on this wall. Is that wall acceptable there for you? Once you're ready once you can see it?
I think so. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the stream update.
Okay.
That seems perfectly acceptable. I assume I see these things in the room, however.
Yes, you definitely see there's a bunch of these things in the room. And I just need to check. Interesting how that didn't show up the way I expected, but that's okay. Oh wow, the stream, everything is super slow for me now. Go figure. But that's okay. You can see this full room, and inside this room you do see a couple of tables, some of them with some various artifacts of seeming value in it. There's a cauldron to one side and a rack with a whole bunch of different types of weapons on it. But you do see, and milling about this room are these strange machine-like creatures.
Oh, that's all, huh?
You do happen to see on the bookshelf beside you as well sorry, just trying to get this to actually work here. There's a kind of a spell book kind of tablet table, standing table, kind of beside you as well. It is not lit in this room. Well, it's lightly lit in this room, so you can see a good chunk of distance on here. Rooms around.
No signs of any pearls sitting out anywhere.
See some magical artifacts of some sort, like globe or orbs. You see with a mirror, but nothing that immediately jumps out at you as pearl.
Okay, I'm gonna sneak back to Odom.
Okay, as you move, one of those strange creatures swing at you.
Oh gosh.
They happen to notice you apparently. Let's see here. Oh my word, my machine is so slow right now. I'm just gonna have to roll it this way. Oh, maybe I can get her now. Oh, it's an at 20. So yeah, that's gonna hit.
Oh boy,
and
there goes
yeah,
the 1 hit point.
There goes your 1 hit point. Yeah. So smacks you, 1 hit point gone. What does that do to you again? Remind me. I haven't dealt with druids for so long.
So when the spider gets squished, we'll say there's like a rustling of leaves and some green sparkly smoke, and then suddenly a drow confused, or half drow confused and bruised appears where the thing punched.
Alrighty, so then let's get you on there, Larkin. Ka-chunk, and this time you'll definitely be able to see it, I think, in your roll 20, because you will be...
The damage from the 1 hit, by the way, would carry over into his natural hit points.
Okay,
so
well,
more than one.
So I rolled a nat 20 on the dice here. I'll put it up on the camera so that was the one that I rolled.
I believe you.
And yeah, it's still got to be honorable. Still got to do that thing. Okay, so it was its fist that it used, so it's just a d4. And so that is 2 points of damage. So you only take 1 extra hit point.
Okay.
And you are now back to your full size. Problem is that you are also right beside the entrance, or right, just kind of stepping into the entrance of this little tunnel that was 1 foot by 1 foot, and so you bamfed yourself back out, and you are now wedged in this tunnel.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to stop for the night.
Trapped in a hard place. Perfect.
Would he be able to shout in pain?
Oh, he probably would have. Yeah, he probably would have. Cool. I mean, this.
Cool. I just want to make sure Autumn kind of knows what's going on.
All right. So there you are. That is where we are calling her for the evening. Larkin, stuck in a tunnel.
How could this go wrong?
Could have gone worse.
Could have gone far worse. Did not.
You only got attacked by one thing.
And I lost.
Weren't you guys told that the thing in the well would respond?
Yeah,
well, yeah, it would send up like.
It took too long.
Yeah, it would like send up pearls or whatever. We didn't know it was a monster of some sort.
And because it's a metal thing, that immediately gives you the thought, oh, we need to go down there now.
He was curious. He wants to know things. This is interesting. You are not allowed to criticize the decisions because you decided not to come with.
I decided not to go for good reason.
Sounds like somebody doesn't want their items identified.
What's your good reason there, Roman?
I don't have any items to be identified, so him getting that pearl actually doesn't affect me whatsoever.
Well, Autumn dies a horrible death. Laura can turn into a dove and fly back and tell everybody.
Autumn can teleport the fuck out of here.
There you go. He's
not even remotely stuck here.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see where this takes us. In 2 weeks, we'll be back on July 6th is the next time we're going to be meeting up again. And we'll go back to a bit more of a regular schedule. Actually, I think we might have a bit of a longer break because of vacations and such. But that's when we're going to be back. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys all have a